having the time to do it. Taking care of my mom was a chore, but that being said, I did get some bad news earlier about her. She had an appointment with her new doctor today.
This is live too, Walt.
Oh, is it? I didn't realize. Yeah, we can talk about it later. Oh, I don't know. I have my camera
Was
on.
it live the whole time, or sorry?
No, I'd say it just popped on the last minute maybe.
Okay, perfect. Welcome back, everyone.
So hi, everyone.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
So, guys, you should tweet the link.
Yeah, what channel is this on?
Should be on my Josh Corey channel.
Oh, yeah, got it. Oh yeah, Walt's straight on the front. Walt's big head.
Is it? I'm still on screen. I thought I turned it off.
No,
Yes.
You're off.
No. Yeah, No,
Walt's
straight on the front. His
melon?
head's on the what I'm about to click onto to yeah, you can see you, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were all gonna become superstars, so we needed to be, camera ready at all times. Isn't that how you do it? That's how Josh rolls. I know.
Fuck, you're asking the wrong guy here. I don't know.
That's why I went with the shaved head. Never has to worry about is the hair coiffed just right.
Did you say coif on air?
I said, sir. I said coiffed. Yes, I did.
Man, I was just thinking. It was
I'll admit it. And look, I'm reading this word here. It's false, right? Not fall. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I don't know. I saw my signal cut down.
I don't know. Everybody's muted. But you and I.
I'm scraping still. What are we going to talk about? What do we want to talk about?
I don't know. It's a good question. How about North Korea and their propensity to just go absolute ape shit and raise the entire...
And they had apparently another test today?
Anywhere now, yeah. They just had their largest nuclear test, according to South Korea.
It could all just be a big propaganda campaign to get everyone riled up against them,
Could be. Russia just biplanes, like got within 10 feet of it with one of their fight.
And that's by the U.S. again. They flew close by there.
The U.S. says they were doing like routine missions or routine training in above international waters, and I guess there was a spy plane they had, and one of the Russian planes buzzed it.
I find that a very common theme, though, lately too. You always read about Russia comes close, Russia pulls a close maneuver to U.S. raider, Russia this, Russia that. It's all side chatter to me to try and instigate something, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you never can tell. But when things tend to say to build up to a lot of these military incursions that they're doing, they tend to do these sort of cat and mouse chess game moves where it's sort of, we're going to show you our colors and ruffle our feathers and do a little
dance.
Yeah. Show you
beat
what's what.
Chest.
There you go, chest beating.
Throw it out on the table, as it were.
Yeah, everyone knows what's going to happen. It's just a slow lobster in a pot.
Well, here's my question, fellow explorers and researchers. Have you guys done much looking into the whole nuclear hoax theory?
Some. I mean, not much more than what I think Eric put out there.
No, I have not. No.
Well, I've kind
it's
of
strange, but isn't it?
Can you kind of fill us in?
All I can tell you is I had looked into this stuff back when I kind of slipped through the whole Scientology thing and did some research on Hubbard, trying to find out what his whole deal really was. Because I mean, I saw insane things at this place. People basically like stand up in a class and all turn around to a bust of L. Ron Hubbard and thank it for the technology that he was giving them, and basically worshiping this guy, and that he created this whole religion and all this whole thing. So I got away from it, found out it was craziness, and started doing research on him. And then not long after I started doing research, this whole thing came out where his son wrote a book talking about all the things he knew about they had done. And his dad and like Oppenheimer and Crowley and what's his name?
Jack
The NASA
Parsons.
guy, Parsons. Yes, Parsons. And this whole crew were out in the desert doing, you know, satanic rituals to bring the Antichrist into the world, orgies and sexual.
Wasn't Crowley?
rituals.
That was Crowley. They did a Crowley ritual with Parsons and
Oh
Oppenheimer.
yeah, I'm just saying
And
this is what I'm finding
yeah,
out
yeah,
about these guys, and it's
that was at
like,
Area 51 in Nevada. Yeah.
so if that's who is behind, you know, this whole crew is behind all this lie. It's the same guy who's behind the lie, I think, that would, you know, promote this whole ultimate power of being able to mold the atoms of creation, and you know, just that whole being God's like what they're
Mm.
trying to do. You know,
But
I am become death. That is his quote. You know,
yeah,
destroyer of worlds.
yeah.
So I mean, that's very reading right into the whole thing of, you know, them trying to replace God. So I don't doubt that it's mostly a hoax. I mean, I've looked at the footage over and over myself, and this was years before Flat Earth, years before any of the whole thing that everybody's talking about now. I was looking at that footage over and over myself. I had the Atomic Cafe on VHS. I had just about any documentary that was made about it. I had it. And I would
I
look at
bet
this
you looked into
footage.
the Philadelphia experiment too.
Oh,
The
I
whole ship
loved looking
done.
into
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing. I love that whole thing. I mean, because that tied into Tesla, which I knew about years before anyone did. And in my circles, I mean, everybody was like, Tesla, who's that? You know, and tied into the whole unified field theory, which I was, you know, I read the series. I was into the physics. I had read, you know, the books. I had read Hawkins' books. So I knew what they were trying to do. I knew about the frequencies and the harmonics and all the bad things that
See,
apparently caused to
it
happen.
makes more sense to me that they have a weapon, like an energy weapon, rather than a nuclear weapon. If I really stop and think.
That's really exactly what I think. And that also
But
fits into the frequency thing and the energy wave
that,
thing.
that's that, and HARP and the other stations. But
Exactly.
before that, I just want to say one thing about the rituals. So we at all these famous places, right? You see these people doing rituals on the site. So it just puzzles me when you look at CERN. You see the stuff, rituals they're
Yes.
doing on the property. It
Yes.
reminds me of like, yeah, when they do stuff in Nevada in the desert, when they go to the White House and they do rituals, or they do a ritual when they open a new building in San Francisco and Tech City, or, it happens a lot.
Tunnels in Switzerland.
Yep, the Dumbs, the Colorado, they do it, all over the usual suspects in the usual places. It's just
But you
really
point that out
weird.
to people, and you're just a paranoid person who's, you know, watching too many YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh, yeah. CERN's headquarters or whatever, the official CERN came up with a statement saying, because there was a a video taken of people in robes standing around a girl who looked like she was stabbed, and then the video cut off, and then there was chanting and all this stuff. And CERN said, chalked it up to, well, it was just a really a passionate uh, enactment and just some tomfoolery. Kids were, kids will be kids. that's the official statement from
Yeah,
CERN on
but
why
have you
there is a
also
ritual on the property of a government, like of a institute.
heard that the maker of the film has come up dead? That's the last
No.
story. Yeah, the last story I read on it was the maker of that film, who was the jokester or whatever, is now been found dead. Let me go find it. I think it's on my feed in Twitter.
Hmm. That'd be an interesting twist. Well, it wouldn't. It'd be predictable.
Well, that would make it very, fitting in with the whole
But and
thing.
this isn't the first one either. They've done rituals in front of that
Oh
Shiva.
man, did you see the crazy
do them all
dance
the
they
time.
did outside the portal itself
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
in that movie or whatever? All right, hang on, I'm gonna find it.
It's Freaky Friday or Fringe Friday.
Right here on the fringe.
Yep. But it's definitely interesting, especially since it's the anniversary of 9/11. What made me think that and lean towards non-nuclear is the evidence that people like Judy Woods and stuff have come up with to suggest that there is an energy weapon and they are using frequencies and that can manipulate the environment, weather, people, and our electron, our biology itself. Like the signals can mess with us. So that's a lot more plausible than like something, I don't know, nuclear in my mind.
You know something's going on when steel beams are disintegrating in midair while flying through the air. They're disintegrating. There's something going on in there.
Great point. Exactly.
Steel beams don't disintegrate from just
Jet
falling.
fuel does not do it.
Yeah. From a building that just starts collapsing, steel beams don't disintegrate. So there was definitely some sort of special weapon or something that was used that day.
Absolutely. 100% believe that to be true. Yeah, I was saying it appears there's going to be a big special on PBS this Sunday on the anniversary, 15th anniversary. And it's called something like From the Pentagon. And so they're going to bring on 4 or 5 caps who were apparently there on the day of the big bombing. And on the clip, they only show the one thing that they always show, which is pathetic, considering it's the Pentagon, for crying out loud. They only got one grainy, like less than 480p picture of an explosion from like 800 yards away from the front gate. It's so bad. Terrible. I don't understand how people like don't see it and literally like look at themselves and go, what the hell are they doing? Like, come on.
Do you guys think that most people that see Building 7 fall down, because we know how many people don't know about it? Do we think that?
Welcome, Tony.
Hello. I'm sorry you can't have my picture, but I'm moving, so I just have to speak if that's okay.
No, you're right. What do you want to say?
That's fine.
I've only literally just joined in the conversation, so carry on, and I'll come in at another point. I'll just say hello for now.
Yeah, you got a
we're
big
glad
drive,
to have
right?
you.
You got a 4-hour drive, you were saying, Tone?
Yeah, that's right. I'm travelling from Kent in the UK, which is in the south, and I'm going up to near Rotherham, which is in the north. So, yeah.
Right on. Okay, thanks for joining.
I lost my train of thought. Where was I?
Building 7.
Building 7.
Yeah, you think people, once they see Building 7 fall down, that's how I.
Can you just mute yourself, Tone?
Say that again, sorry?
Can you just mute your microphone? We got a lot of background noise.
Right. Yeah, sure, I will do. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so Rob, go on Building 7, and I have an answer to your question too.
Do you think most people that watch that immediately go, "What the hell's going on here?" Or do you think they're still sheep even after seeing that? Because that's what I saw for the first time.
I personally, I wish people were like that, but let me tell you, just last week, I brought it up to someone who I respect, and they said, "Are you out of your mind? Do you know how much the force of those towers coming down was?" It was a shockwave that brought down Building 7. We have no idea how much steel and bricks and building that collapse, that energy has to go somewhere. Don't be stupid. It was caused because of the shockwave, whether you could see it or not. That's what I got, and I was like, really? It blew my mind, man.
Yeah, well, I've got, that's what buildings are supposed to do. well, fuck if I want to live in buildings like that or work in buildings like that if that's what they do. Hey?
Oh man, it's funny that they do such a terrible construction job when it comes to something so secure as a military or a government building that holds like records that are supposed to be maintained. If really they build them that shit, they're just supposed to fall over. That's funny.
Mm. Yeah, so no, I can't see how, as a normal human being, you can't see that building fall down and then start to question things. I can't comprehend how you couldn't put one and one together there and come up with the assumption of the story's not right.
I'd like to join in a little bit. I think if you're having this discussion with somebody, I tend to stay away from the Building 7 thing because of the responses that you've outlined already. I think it's a really good idea to always show them the clip where the woman on the BBC is actually talking about the building before it goes down, about how it's already gone down. That's when I think people... That's what I think. Anyway, I'm going to turn the mic back down again now, okay?
Thanks.
Dude.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a blackjack. That's exactly. I can't believe we didn't think of that. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's a strong card to play.
Mm.
Hey, Josh, real quick, I found the article about the scientist. I mean, not the scientist, the guy who made the video being found dead. You want to just read it, or you want to put it on your Twitter page? How you want to put it?
Whatever you think.
Yeah, I'll send it to the Hangout room. How about that?
Thanks for finding that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy as I was reading through it again. It's putting the link anyway, so just click the link, I guess, on your screen since you can share, sir. Thank you.
You put it in the Hangout chat or on Twitter?
Yeah, in the Hangout chat. Yes, sir. The Hangout, yes.
All right. I guess I'll be here waiting for that to come through.
I hope I dropped it in the right one.
We'll get the tech department parts.
It's popped up. I see it's in there after Tony's joined.
All right, I see it now.
So, Tony, what are you into? What floats your boat?
Sorry about the delay. I have to keep turning the microphone off so you don't get static.
That's fine.
What floats my boat? Flat Earth floats my boat. The truth floats my boat. I'm just a normal guy. I'm married, but I've got a little girl, and that's it really. I was just wandering along in life, wondering why nothing ever went quite right for me, and I started a few years ago, discovering a few screws. I've never been really, at one with the establishment, I suppose. And I suppose more and more of the 9/11 stuff, just like everybody else, and then you see the other atrocities going on around the world. So, yeah, and now I'm just totally dedicated to flat Earth and finding out more truths and struggling with people that want to ridicule you for talking about it. That's my life really now.
As we all do.
Yeah. So, and I think like my biggest dilemma has come now as a father, because you want to teach your children to be awake, but at the same time you don't want to ostracize them. So you have to let them learn what they've got to learn in their programming as well, which is quite distressing, really.
Yeah, one of our members earlier was saying that he's doing the same thing. He knows that he has to send his kid, and they're going to get indoctrinated heavy. But he also explains both sides of it and shows them, and then kind of lets them go from there. And then
And
this morning we had a lady say something about it too. It was just really prudent what she said.
well, I definitely was, I guess, lucky to be blessed with a child who's very open-minded, and all throughout his youth and his childhood, I was never a parent who hid anything from him. Now, granted, I was on some lost paths and found some crazy things of my own, but I was always very, anti-control, anti-government, anti-vaccines, anti-just following the crowd, and taught him to be that way and to toe the line enough to not get in too much trouble. So he's turned out to be quite a smart young man, and he found his own way through this flat earth madness that I've worked my way through too, because, we all had our cognitive dissonance moments and our trying to deal with it and trying to work it out. And he fought through his, and I'm very proud of his progress. I really am. Maybe one day he'll come on the show with us. How old is your child, Tony?
Maybe she's only very young. She's only 5, but she's a very clever girl. She's a very clever girl already. She's bilingual already. She speaks fantastic Polish and English, and she tells me off when I speak Polish because she says I'm not very good at it, which is quite funny. But yeah, she's had 1 year at school already, like a reception year. And now she's started this year properly. But the indoctrination in that call was quite incredible. I mean, in that first year, it was quite incredible. As I said before, the mother and I were out in the garden a few weeks ago, and we were talking about flat Earth, and the little one pipes up and says, "Daddy, don't be silly, the Earth is round." And I said, "Hannah, how do you know? How do you know the Earth is round?" "I just know, Daddy, I know." "How do you know, Hannah?" "Because we told that at school, Daddy." "But how do you know, Hannah?" "I just know, Daddy, that's it, don't be silly." And that's after 1 year. That's from 4 to 5. So, and I was talking to a guy on Twitter earlier. I forget his name now, and I can't look up unfortunately because I'm driving. But he showed me a picture of his child's school books. He lives in America, and the school books had a picture of Devil's Point on them, which I just found incredible. The indoctrination knows no bounds,
Yeah, I remember when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I made a big collage of the universe. I remember sitting down for a couple of days building it with my mum. So, and it's embedded into you, isn't it? And it's really, really hard to get it out of your head once it's in there. Along with ships over the horizon. You're told that ships go over the horizon. You never actually go and get a telescope and make sure they do you?
Wow.
Uh-oh. Who's that calling?
Not sure what that is.
Hack trying to get in?
Maybe so. Maybe you hit the old link.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, there's something about youth, I guess, that's still close enough to the original source that they still aren't quite as jaded. My 8-year-old nephew in Oregon, when I was there, I was showing him some photographs I had taken with my new phone, and one of them was clouds, like with the moon below them. You could obviously see the moon shining up on the clouds. And when I showed it to him, he pointed it out. I didn't say anything. I just was flipping through the awesome pictures of the mountains and the trees, and there's the moon. He's like, "Oh, the moon." And when I flipped to the next one, it's a real close-up, obvious one. And he said, "Wow, it looks like the moon is under the clouds." And I'm like, "Yeah, it sure does. I wonder how that happened." He's like, "I don't know, because the moon's supposed to be 238,000 miles away." So I was shocked he knew that number, and that he was seeing that it obviously was below the clouds. And I just kind of let him think on that one for a little while. And then he started talking about the sun, and the sun's like 93 million miles away. It's like, how do you know all that stuff? "Oh, we learned it in school." So at 8, he's already got the numbers down. That's how the indoctrination sets in. But he sees the things that he sees with his own eyes. He saw the moon touching those clouds. I think I dropped that picture in earlier. I don't know if it's accessible from this page or not.
But we've also got to remember that the teachers that are teaching our children, they believe that we live on a globe. It's not like they're all lying, because they think that we live on a globe.
Oh, exactly.
Don't they?
That's what I always
So
hear.
when
is
they
what
when they
say,
talk
"Nobody
when they
lied."
talk about being on a globe, they will put their heart and soul into teaching you about the things that they've been taught about. It's not like the teachers are lying to them. They think they're telling them the truth.
And then every now and again, someone's lucky enough to have one of those teachers who kind of undermines the system a little bit, undermines a little bit by, passing out books maybe they shouldn't be passing out. I had a biology professor in college that, while we were supposed to be talking about evolution, he was giving us these books on why it wouldn't work, kind of under the table kind of thing. He was awesome. One of them was something like, show me the short-necked giraffe, and the whole compression on the footprints, and just, he was definitely showing us the whole alternative to why this whole evolution thing wouldn't work, even as he was supposed to be teaching it to us.
I think them people know deep down. It's like even people that don't believe, like one in our group said earlier to me, is like, I don't even believe that nothing exploded in evolution, right? So like teachers, they obviously must know in their heart or in the back of their head that, hey, something doesn't add up here.
So, James, what was your early experience of the globe, do you think? What, you remember, excuse me, the first time you probably saw it?
Yep. I was researching all the other side topics that, typically people like us, he would call us conspiracy people, I guess. That's what I love. A side note, that's what I love about Flat Earth. Like, there's people that are coming into this that had no background in conspiracies or researching, and then they're mixing with all of us that have that. So in one way, it's kind of like a grounding, because we get their new perspective and not bias on things. In the other way, we get fill the gaps in, this happened or this is what we think. But for me personally, every avenue of research that I looked into led to evil or good. It was one or the other. And when I realized that the bad side, all they wanted to do was to trash the good side and defeat the good side, I was like, okay, so if they're actually naming this stuff and they're actually hiding it, I know that side's real. And that's when things kind of went alive for me, and I kind of, started caring again about the human race and about other people and about, good manners and love and being kind to people. And that was in 2013. And then from there, I kind of started looking at it, and I think it was either Mark Sargent's or Eric Dubé stuff. And I remember I was sitting on my couch, I was watching it on the new TV here, and he was doing the video about the curvature of the Chicago skyline. Oh, and it was the one with the guy who has that famous voice too. He's like, where's the curvature? That video, when I saw that and then started doing the rest of the research, I knew it. Because the beautiful thing for me about Flat Earth, and I've heard other people say it, we know in our gut, like, I feel it, man. And it brought 10 years of the culmination of every door and all these things that I've done in my life. It finally fits and it feels right. And
Exactly.
I know it. And that's how I came to it, man. But how I know it's true, another reason, is what I stated earlier. You've got mathematicians coming in. You've got atheists. You've got Hindus. You've got Muslims. You've got whites, blacks. It doesn't matter. Race, color, creed, nothing. People are coming to it because they know something's wrong. And I'm just blessed and happy and excited. Part of it. And that's it. Next.
The shot you took earlier on, Walt?
Oh yeah, that's the one from Oregon that my nephew commented on. He said, "Wow, it looks like it's under the clouds." I said, "Yeah, it does, huh?" He just was like, "Well, that can't be possible. It's supposed to be 238,000 miles away." So he sees it, but the indoctrination is already there at 8 years old. And I wasn't ready for my sister to start beating my head in just yet on the whole flat Earth thing. I've already got my hands full with my brother and his family.
Yeah,
His
how's he
in-laws,
lately?
he's still fighting it. He's still trying to fight it. I mean, like I said earlier this afternoon, when I broke his mind with the Jaren effect, that we should see different stars every 6 months in the night sky at midnight for sure. He had to think on that one for about a month, and he said, "Well, it's just the distances and the wash of the light and how small we are in relation to all these distant stars. That's why it looks like it's always the same sky." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, you sleep good with that one if that's how you, if that's what you want to think. But that doesn't explain it for me."
It's one of those the building's supposed to fall answers.
Exactly. His
I really
fallback.
enjoyed. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Go. I was just saying his fallback is that everything in nature becomes a sphere. I'm like, how are you justifying that statement even? He's like, well, if you take blood, for instance, it globs into a sphere and all this stuff and in weightlessness and all these things on the ISS. I'm like, no, 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 no. You can't use anything NASA related. That's going back to same thing as going back to pictures or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, but it's real science. It's not. I'm like, no, it's not real science. It's joke science. It's colored balls of water floating around in a video. It's not anything real. There's no, show me the figure, show me the inertia, show me something that means science. It's all just a bunch of magic tricks.
My personal troll at work used everything in nature is a sphere. He used
Yeah,
that
that's
one
what
on
he
me.
keeps saying. Exactly. It's like ridiculous.
He used that one on me the other day, and I said, "Well, what about a tree? What's a tree?" And the tree grows out of the ground and defies gravity by growing out of the ground. It's growing away from gravity. You think the gravity would stop that tiny little
Wow.
pit from, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir, Rob. Great observation.
That is incredible. Nice one, mate. That's like gravity being holding how many tons of ocean, but yet a little minnow or tadpole can swim through it.
Right. A jellyfish can exist in it.
Yes, but it can't hold a little seedling. So yeah, I was thinking about that one the other day.
That's amazing. That's great. The Rob effect. We have to write it down.
Josh, did you get that link that Walt sent about the ritual? I was still
Oh yeah, is
interested
it
in
up
that.
there? I didn't even check.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to.
I think it was Richie from Boston who put it up, that story, or maybe he's the one they sourced. You guys have him on YouTube? You checked him out?
No, but I will.
He's interesting. You know, I mean, it's a source, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's who it is, Richie from Boston.
We'll watch the video first. Go over the.
Well, if we're going to watch the video, warn people that's graphic and there may be, you know, whatever.
Is
It's
it?
a graphic-ish.
This
I
is
mean,
doing.
it's not horrendous, but it's definitely, you know.
And the official story is that it's just some visitors that have gone a little too
Just
far.
cutting up. Yeah, just cutting up.
Real, according to CERN. So
Just
maybe
having
the.
a lark, a few jokes. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today is the 11th of August, 2016, and I'm going to show you a video that people are easily going to point out as a hoax. Well, let me ask you, how are they hoaxing a video at what appears to be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning at CERN? They are on the grounds between building 39 and 40 at CERN. And the guy recording this is wearing a cloak. You can catch it right in the reflection. He's wearing a cloak just like the rest of these people. And he's set up with his camera before these people walk out there. And if you pay attention, you'll see over here what appears to be some sort of unseen entities walking out. Notice the guy is wearing a cloak in the reflection. Notice that he is in the building at CERN. These people are on the property. Why am I all excited? Because this is exciting.
Wow,
And
I didn't get this part.
poo-poo this and say that it is a hoax. Well, how did these people gain access? And why is this guy wearing a cloak? And he absolutely freaks out during this video. And he runs into the building where there is a projection of a collider on the wall. So this stuff is all accurate. You can search it for yourself on Google Earth. Spend a little time researching this. But this is absolutely crazy. It is what appears to be a human sacrifice or a mock human sacrifice, perhaps in tribute to Bohemian Grove. Who knows? Who knows? But the fact that these people are even going through these motions on the grounds of CERN in Geneva is highly disconcerting. Highly disconcerting. Watch this. And then the guy freaks out. I'm going to play that for you again, but I'll put all the original in. I won't use it this time. See all the movement over here?
What the fuck? What the? Fuck! Shit! Fuck! Shit!
If this is a hoax, these people still had access to CERN at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And one of them was inside the facility. As you can see, this is a projection of one of the colliders in the buildings at CERN. So if this is a hoax, I'm still interested because we've seen them do the cremation of care where they kill in effigy. I don't know what to tell you. Richie from Boston, it appears they're doing some sort of satanic ritual at CERN. If you can debunk this, please show your evidence below. Richie from Boston, I am out.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm kind of with Richie from Boston on this one. It doesn't really show a whole
Doesn't
lot.
really show much, does it?
It could sure easily be dismissed as a hoax, but even if it is,
What I
it's a
notice, Josh,
hell of a hoax.
is whenever you see things like this, the camera always turns away at the point where you really want to see it and where the action's happening. Like Nice, the camera pointed down. There's been a number of them lately where the camera it's on the action, and then just as the action starts happening, bang, the camera points downwards, and you don't,
I've seen that. To me, it actually looked like a fraud. I used to watch a lot of these found footage videos. It kind of looks like he's like sneaking in. It looks like it could be a part of a movie, to be honest. Like he snuck in there, he heard something was going down, so he put on a cloak, and he's actually filming it, and all of a sudden somebody busts in the door, or he has to turn away because all of a sudden this wasn't supposed to happen. Like it looks a little hoaxy, but on the other hand, they're there in cloaks at 2 a.m. It is a secure facility. How did they get access, and how did the guy get in the building at that time?
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yep.
It looks to me a little bit like there might have been people in cloaks in all the windows surrounding the place, maybe watching like a silent invite to watch it, and they run out there at right at the strike of the hour for what, like 3.5 minutes, and do this ritual or some kind of thing. And they say, whatever you do, he doesn't know what's going on, maybe. Whatever you do, don't video record, like this is serious, who knows what. He goes up there in a cloak, then he pulls up a camera, then he sees this stuff, he starts freaking out, then when he looks back up, they're all looking at him, or maybe somebody was looking at him like, oh, he's been found out. He got seen with the thing, he had no idea what he was getting into.
Isn't that the scene from Eyes Wide Shut, though? It's like an exact recreation.
Totally.
Hey, Josh,
you're
can
right.
you do me
This is
one
all
favor?
like so scripted. Even catching the Stern Collider thing at the end.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
what I thought. That's what I thought.
thought.
I was thinking Scorsese, or what's his name, that movie.
Kubrick.
Oh, this reminds me of, were we watching this together, the 9/11 video that was from 2001? It was a woman who was watching it happen, like from equal height at a residence tower, like 4 blocks away.
Yeah, in her condo in New York with the obviously in New York, but they were in a condo, and she's like, "Honey, lock the door," and like he's like, "I don't know, I don't think the smoke's gonna hit us," and it just kind of like vented away from the building. That part.
The part where she runs out in the hallway and sees a man coming up to her. Maybe it's a different video.
Yeah, I think it's a different one. But anyways, tell it.
The guy was smiling, and then he covered his face like he was, hiding it, and then he acted like he furrowed his brow like he was crying or something. You could literally see him wiping away his smile, like an eyewitness that pulls their camera out right at the right time, and then they go in the hallway, and this guy's like a part of the team, and he's laughing.
Dude, I love that. Whoever, I don't know, I'm not saying who's in charge of that stuff, but if I think who's in charge of it is doing that, it's pretty awesome, because without fail, if you look at a false flag or you look at something like that, these people can't help it. They all smile. They're getting run over by trucks and they're smiling. Like it's unreal.
What is that term where they laugh or something while they're lying or fooling you? Like a liar's laugh. There's
like the guy at Sandy Hook.
Duper's delight.
That's it. Duper's delight. Yes.
Yep, that's it exactly. Good one, right?
Yep. That's
Josh,
what
can
I
you do
see.
me a favor? Can you rewind that to the part where the guy starts freaking out? Like when he sees it and he starts freaking out with the camera? I want to hear that again. Because I've only heard it twice.
Did you see his face too? I thought you could see his face for a second.
I just want to hear the acting or whatever, because it sounded kind of hokey this time around for sure. This is the best I've listened to it, because every time I've listened to it, it's been like on my phone with a real tinny mic. But listening to it in my headphones, it sounded really like bad acting. I won't lie.
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
Whoa.
Right. It was just too, false flaggy. But like I said, they have access to it, so whoever set it up.
Well, we could have discussion
their-
about what they chose for the ornament too. Like that's a whole
Right.
nother thing. Come on.
But as we know, with all their fake rituals, quote unquote, they do for their opening ceremonies and halftime rituals, there's always some power going somewhere with these things.
Fuck! Shit! Fuck!
I don't know. That seems.
Shit!
Telling you, it sounds like cam footage B movie, found film.
Yeah,
He might have been specially selected for his heavy breathing and fear.
Nice. You're not presenting though, Josh, by the way, anymore.
Yeah, I'm just hearing it audio.
Hey Josh, I just dropped you a YouTube video. It's another PK one. Just interesting. If you go to about halfway through, go through to about a minute and 20. Turn the volume down. I don't know if we should be listening to PK's voice, this sort of thing, but
it takes
go through about a minute 20 and have a look at what should have happened on the Nice truck attack, what the carnage should have looked like.
Should we do a parental guidance suggested NC-17 warning or what?
Oh, it didn't bother me. Just, yeah, it is graphic.
Right,
I suppose it's graphic. Yeah.
All right, so anyone out there who's a weak stomach or whatever, just be warned. There you go. We tried.
Mm-hmm. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, it's pretty cruel. It's pretty cruel. So, yeah.
In a world. No.
I'm gonna say,
Gotta get to the burrito stand to save the world.
Yeah, so just go through to a minute and 20 or so. That should be enough.
All right.
Press and play.
Advised. It does show what really happened in Nice that night. So I just want to play it. And once again, I admit I got the event wrong.
I suppose it is pretty crook, but it's just have a look behind the truck. If you want to fast forward, Josh, to behind the truck as well. Pretty bad. But they're telling us that 280 or 300 people got hit by this truck. That's what it would look like. Not the 12 or so bodies. One of them looked like a pig. That's what it would look like.
Another mannequin.
Anyone agree with that?
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, that's exactly how it would look like. It would have been just carnage like that.
Anybody who hunts and does that knows how much blood comes out of one body, one thing, right? To say what happened in Nice is nuts.
I would like to join in here because I'm actually driving a truck at the moment, and I've seen what happens when a big truck hits a deer, and the body of the deer literally goes all over the trailer. You can't do anything about it. Unfortunately, it happened to me driving through Poland once in an articulated vehicle. Yeah, it looks like you're moving through a butcher's shop, and that's one animal. So to hit a couple of hundred people, I saw the pictures of that truck afterwards. I saw the the video, supposed video of where the guy was dragged out of the truck by the special forces or whatever they are. I don't know if that was real or not. But yeah, it's a complete false flag. There's no way a white truck would be white. It just wouldn't happen like that.
Yeah, same with me, Tony. That's what I'm a truckie myself, and I've hit a kangaroo before, and it destroys just one kangaroo. You hit a kangaroo at 80 kilometers an hour. Your grill's buggered. Your headlights are probably smashed, and yes.
Yeah, growing up in the country, where
It
I
just
grew
wouldn't.
up,
Yeah.
many times cows would escape pastures, and you get that call, and whoever hit your cow or hit your uncle's cow, or they hit the cow, or a horse one time, and yeah, it's the vehicle is usually totaled, and the carnage is just incredible. You eat a lot of beef for the next few weeks.
That was such a good point, Tony and Rob. Like, I just looked at the pictures too. If you just search them, unbelievable. Like, the truck looks like it was shot at, not by a couple bullets. That's the only thing you notice, and then maybe the fender was banged off. But the thing is sparkling frickin' white. I mean, there's no way. I don't know how stupid they think we are. I guess we're pretty stupid if we can look at that truck and be like, wow, it almost looks like they just gave it a wash and a shine. Everything looks great. No blood here. Like, it's mental.
Well, look at the truck from that last video where all the sheep and the goats got hit. I mean, that truck's in really good condition. The grill's squared away. The headlights are fine. There's no blood on it. What we're talking about is the difference between low-speed impact versus a high-speed impact. A high-speed impact, you're going to look like you drove to the butcher shop. A low-speed impact, they're just going to pile up underneath you like this one.
Yeah. If it was a low-speed impact, the people would have got out of the way.
That's so smart.
You would hit a couple of people, but you'd hit a couple of people. Trucks are pretty loud. Most people would dive out of the way, wouldn't they? 300 is a lot of people, eh?
It'd be interesting to see if anybody, how many actual live accounts there are, how many people were actually there, and what they actually really remember seeing. Because I bet you it was more of like, I think something's happening. We should, go over there, and somebody says something and everybody agrees with it. Like, I'd love to know what they really saw.
Have you seen PK's latest video? It lasts for about 20 minutes, James. It shows it's a guy on a balcony with an iPhone or something and it's got the coppers before the truck turns up, maybe half an hour before the truck turns up. Lights on, shooing all the people on the beach, shooing them out of there. So there was very, very little people left on that beach by the time the truck turned up. And I believe that the truck probably had the mannequins and whatever they used as the bodies. The truck rolled in there. Someone was in the back, pulling the bodies out the back of the truck.
It was a reefer. It looked like a reefer, and it looked like, just from the picture I saw, like they could have sealed it up and kept whatever they had in there, and dropped them out the back and then done it. Yeah.
Hey, do you guys remember those? That big wave of, I forget what you call it, but everybody would start dancing at the same time. They'd all show up in the same outfit or whatever in costume, and then
flash mob. Yeah. So if you had like a bunch of stage actors and stage props in a huge crowd, and then like just real silently without anyone looking at each other or everyone being out of sight, just sort of like flash mob started the process, and maybe 7 or 8 or 50 or 100 people were queued to like run in many different directions saying something like, oh, there's a truck plowing through people, and then someone drops a pig's body, and then like somebody lays down, and next thing someone's squirting blood, and the van pulls up, and then like next thing you know, just you film it, and then all anyone there really knows was like something huge happened, and the police came, and everybody got cleared out, and they got the video of
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, that's what PK was saying in his video, that that he had all the news videos, and a lot of people were running, and they said to the news, "We don't even know why we were running. The police just told us to run." And that's what I'm saying. The police got there early, told everyone to run, get the hell out of here. There's shots fired. Then they
Tony's
start the
next.
filming of the
Sorry.
people running. So the people were running. The people were running well before the truck got there.
Go ahead, Tony.
I just think, in this day and age of the mobile phone, when you go to a sporting occasion or a concert, or if you're just walking down the road these days, everybody has a phone in their hand. And where's all the mobile footage, of all these events? You just don't see it, and that just doesn't equate with modern sheep or any of us, to be fair, because everybody is glued to this smartphone these days, and everybody seems to video every moment of their life. And I get enough pictures of what people are going to eat every day, and you can't tell me that there's all those hundreds of people stood around on Bastille Day and no one's taking a video, and you never see these videos. They never come out. So I think that's, ultimately, someone scores a game at a football match, you go on Twitter, and the video of that goal is up, before it's even appeared on the TV half the time. So where is all this footage of all these events? And there isn't any, is there? So not that it shows anything real.
Right, and the other advantage they have is if they do this in front of a bunch of bystanders, the bystanders could be in disbelief, like, oh my God, am I watching this? Or what am I really seeing? And then you just have people showing up reporting the storyline, like we've all seen, whether it's in camera or just on the street, and there's police that are saying the same thing. Maybe the police just show up and start going, everybody run, and then that's the event. Or the epicenter of the event.
Two or three different years, the kids had this event at school.
Tony, can you mute yourself again,
sorry.
man?
Are you still talking?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thought I had some. Sorry.
No worries. Okay, well, go ahead.
No, just 2 or 3 different times as the later years of their school life, at maybe junior and senior year, or maybe 3 years. I'm not sure, but the kids had to participate, and Michelle had to cover this thing where they enacted a wreck at the school, out front or in the side road or whatever. And it was on the street or on the parking lot, and it was
the DUI car crash.
Right. And it's graphic, and people are upset and crying. Michelle was not wanting to cover it the second year after she experienced the first time, because her daughter was involved in it, and it was traumatizing to her. And I saw the second one.
An actual car on the
school
ground.
Right. Exactly. And it looks real, and it doesn't take that long for them to assemble this thing. And this is just local people with not a budget and not high-tech access to high-tech, graphical equipment or whatever it would take to throw this thing together, Hollywood level of stuff like they have for these events they create. So yeah, heck, that's very likely quite part of it, that they throw it out in the middle of a bunch of people who are just going, what? They're so stunned, there's no time to react, just to report what they, quote, saw.
Plus, it's such a trick that way, too. John brought up earlier about the astronaut show. If you have a plant in there, it's so hard to tell what's real. It's just really unfair. And I'll just say one more thing, that Tony, good point on the cell phone thing, and it just reminded me of something that came up. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's fascinating. The video with Hillary Clinton, that she might have faked the entire press conference. There's somebody's cell phone, and they're filming live video, and Hillary's supposed to be walking across to the podium, yet all the cell phones that are filming it there are blank. There is no Hillary walking through. Have you guys seen that one?
No, that's awesome. I don't even see that.
Dude, I've got to get. I'll cue it up in a minute. Keep going. Whatever you guys were saying, I'll find it and cue it up.
No, that's awesome. Here's a new Hillary one. Have you seen the little green globule drop out of her mouth into the water glass? No, y'all haven't seen that yet? Okay, I'll have to find that one. Give me a second.
I saw it.
So is she just hacking up something nasty?
Dude, I don't know what the hell. I really don't, because I've seen quite a lot of people. My mom was a respiratory therapist.
I saw that. It made me feel really ill. I have to admit
yes, it did.
It was not a pleasant thing to see.
Not at all.
Yeah, I chew tobacco, and I get real sly about bringing a cup up to my lips sometime to spit.
Uh-huh.
And that's the look she looked like she did. And she looked like she regurgitated something. It rolled out of her mouth, and it was balls, like green balls that were sort of globular and just plooped right into the water and sunk down to the bottom and rolled. Ugh.
That is so weird.
That sounds we got to get that one queued up too. That is
Yeah,
nasty.
Josh, I'm sure if you just search Hillary regurgitates an egg or whatever, I'm sure it'll come up. It's one of her egg sacs, man.
We have the Harry Ruby
And I want to
file.
thank.
Go ahead and do this up. See how many strikes my channel can get.
Oh, right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just before we do this, maybe, my account doesn't get any more Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My thing has a crossed out mic on it, like I'm muted. And my account gets really jacked up when I play with Hillary stuff.
Oh, really? There you go. Well, then don't mess with it. Just go look at it on your time. It's pretty gnarly.
There it is.
See, I'm still not seeing your screen, man. My computer, my tablet is just not showing what you're showing.
Oh, and she covered her face. That's covering a camera angle. That hand. I didn't see that.
She knew something was about to happen. Yeah.
Oh, you guys see that up close. I saw the zoomed in one. And
But I can't see anything there.
Yeah,
Like she's been
zoomed in
drinking
one.
martinis all morning. It's like she's been drinking 2 martinis all morning, and she just hocked up the 2 olives and spit them
Yeah,
bubble tea.
Exactly. I think she's faking the walking because she probably can't walk right now.
I think I've seen this on the cartoons. Look how drunk I am. Bloop, bloop. Wow, that's creepy as fuck.
I'm telling you, dude, she is not going to get the presidency. And it's going to, not only is she not going to get it, it's going to be like taken from her. They're going to be so pissed, whatever they do.
Was this when she was having a hard time talking and she couldn't talk and she was coughing?
This was maybe around that
No,
same
that was
time.
on a plane.
Oh, yeah. Maybe so.
But actually, there's like people making montages of her coughing. They're like 38 minutes long.
So is that what happens when a clone fails? They start hacking up green bile or something?
That's fucking weird.
It's almost like her alien food tabs were bad.
Telling you, it's eggs, man. It's eggs. She knows she's not going to live much longer. She's got to reproduce.
Oh, man. But she hasn't had a press conference, right? That's like unheard of, is it not?
Yeah, that's kind of gnarly. I keep saying that because it's gross. Oh, that you would just be there in the middle of a press conference and have that happen. Chris, I don't know. I don't know. That's probably for another show. Let's just say that.
I found that
With
other
our
link.
leaders.
I can share it if you guys want.
Surely.
Yeah.
All right. Jay's clicking around like an idiot. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Negative.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything all right anybody sharing.
Give me a second here. Let me try it again.
Poor Walt. That's how I feel at a sports bar. I just don't get it. I don't see what you guys see.
Exactly. Yes, make myself as
Can
well.
Can you guys see it
Hey, I
now?
do see it. I see it. What happened? I'm seeing things.
Yes. Well, now I see your screen. Now I see me.
Oh, what
Now I
Oh,
the
see infinity.
bumbleclot? What the heck?
I see the.
I'm sorry. I hope that I didn't put you to a lot of trouble, but I can't stay. Yeah. I just don't.
Hey, James. Thanks for taking care of the screen share.
Were you guys be able to see that when I just had it up? Sorry.
Yes, I was finally seeing yours. So you're
The
doing
the
better than that guy tonight.
the Hillary one? Okay, I'm gonna play the video again then. If
The
you guys could.
tinfoil hat.
Yeah, if you could see that, then I was doing something right. Okay, we'll watch it.
Can't now.
Still coming through?
Nope.
Shut up.
It's not. It's no longer coming through.
Oh, for real?
For real.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. What the hell am I doing? Now?
Yep. Now. Now we
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
There's no sound, James.
This is the same problem John was having.
Wait, can you guys hear it at all or no?
No. Now it's muted, but even when it was unmuted, we couldn't hear it.
Well, I'll have to fix that. You want me to just send it to you then? I might as well. I thought it would work this way. Sorry, guys.
Is it important that we hear?
Um, it's just interesting. It's basically like what they found. Yeah, just what I said, basically. She's faking press conferences now.
But we can just watch it, right? Would we have to hear it?
I guess. It's up
You're
to you
talking
guys.
about the guy with the iPhone who's got a completely different screen, aren't you?
Exactly.
What's going on?
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah, that was one that all credits go to DIT. You know, RH. That's always hard to say. But yeah, that's the one where the cell phone footage doesn't line up. So that's just another thing that triggered it when Tony was talking about phones. So I thought I'd bring that one up.
I want to see it.
I mean, all right. I mean, we could do it, I guess, without volume.
Yeah, if it's just a sight of it.
Ah, shit. No.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Try.
This is like a recent one, right? Like last couple weeks or so?
This week, I think. This past week, or maybe last week.
Dude, you see that?
That is wild.
There's nothing there. And then I'll just fast forward. I think he just will keep going a bit, but.
Welcome back, Tom.
Hello, yeah, sorry about that. Got dumped off there, so apologies.
No, it's all right.
I don't know what you guys are talking about now, so obviously I've not been listening. So.
We're talking about Hillary Clinton and her imaginary press conferences.
Aha, yeah. I saw another video as well. I can't remember the station. It was an American station, but the two women were in the same car park, and they were supposed to be doing like live broadcasts to each other. I don't know if you guys saw that, and the same cars were passing in the background. I mean, this technology is being used all the time now, isn't it? The green screen, the chroma key. It's being used, you know, basically nearly everything we're seeing is being done in the studio somewhere these days.
Mm.
Sure is. I can use it in my basement. I use it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I had a thing the other day. I was thinking that they don't show the journalists the green screen room until they come back from space camp.
Oh my gosh, were you guys here when John played that reveal? That show, you'll know it, Tony. It was called shit. They filmed it in London, and they people thought they were going to Space Cadets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see it, I must admit. So.
I didn't see it either.
It was hilarious. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an astronaut. Damn it. They were literally sitting in a box on a set. And it's funny because they just went against their gut feelings, right? They knew at the beginning, they're like, this, you know what? It doesn't feel like we're actually going to space right now. It's just so weird. I know we're in space, but it doesn't feel like space. So your gut always knows what's really happening, but they bought it, and it ended up there was like something like 4 plants and 9 real people, and then in this one they had 1 plant and two marks, right? And just watching the reveal at the end, it was hilarious, man. I definitely recommend you check it out, Tony. You'll laugh.
I will. I'll definitely have a look at it then. Thanks.
All credits to Sweary G for that find, John.
So we never did finish our CERN mock sacrifice hoax, no hoax discussion. Because we left out the one crucial thing that was the article that came along with this video.
Right. I was going to say the article did come through, I believe.
Yeah. And what Richie from Boston is saying here.
And how he died.
Yeah, so he's saying we all agree, hoax or no hoax. That's really interesting and needs to be looked into further. But the problem is the guy that uploaded the video is dead.
No.
So we have no way now of figuring it out.
How did he die?
Okay, so here's what I'll just read the article real quick. It says, speaking to the Mirror, so it turns out the origin of the video posted for the sacrifice at CERN has been found. This is Richie from Boston talking to the Mirror. The problem is the man is dead. Now, hoax or no hoax, let me remind you all, we have seen this before, and we know all that expose this evil are killed or made to disappear. So Richie from Boston refused to give any more information about himself or the source of the video for fear of his own life. So, for all we know, Richie from Boston could have just created a whole second channel as a second persona to run separate videos for him to talk about later as Richie from Boston. I mean, you never know. People do like crazy stuff like that all the time.
I think we all know that stuff goes on at CERN. You know, we've all seen the opening ceremony, things like that. You know, we've seen the happy video. So we know these things are happening. So I sort of think that this video, hoax or not, is slightly irrelevant because we know this is going on already. We know that where it is you know, the name of the place where it is and all the links it has to satanic, Satanism, etc., etc. And I think so, hoax or not, you know, this stuff is real. So if it's bringing attention to it for other people, fair enough. And if it helps them get on the ladder to seeing what's going on, then fair enough. But for the likes of us, I think it plays an irrelevance, really. You know, I don't think for one moment that things like this are not happening there. You know, you don't make those happy videos, and you don't have opening ceremonies like that where world leaders are watching. That's my thoughts.
But this does kind of point back to what Walt was referring to and what James was talking about with Area 51 and the sort of things as to why they might actually be performing these sorts of rituals. I mean, maybe they're trying to recreate this portal. The idea of the portal. This is why they have Area 51 in the desert. There was a portal that was open. They've got to contain. Was that?
There's some bad sound problems. Yeah.
I was struggling. You know, I was struggling to hear a couple of you there. I didn't know if it was just this end. Yeah, I mean, what they're doing with the quantum computers and, you know, everything that's going on there at CERN, it's something to be definitely worried about. I find with all of these discussions, really, it's like I always find my point is like, how do we move forward? How do we progress? How do we without, you know, I know a lot of you guys, you make videos and you're doing experiments and stuff like that, and that's fantastic, and you do a lot of great work, and that's how you get people like me on board, and, you know, the rest of us on board and stuff like that. But I mean, what can we practically do, you know, apart from this? What can we practically do? I mean, people always say to me, what do we do? And I always say, well, we have to start with I know, you know, so you change your own life first, and then you hope that a million other people change their lives and you become a collective we. But I sometimes I feel a little bit helpless, you know. I don't know if that resonates.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
But, so look, guys, I'm going to just turn off my microphone now. I'm going to continue driving, and I'm just going to listen. And I just want to say, I'm not going to say anything else from now. I'm just going to say goodbye, but I'm going to stay listening. But I just want to say I'm really grateful for the invite tonight, and I'll definitely come and join in again if that's okay with you all. Right.
Sure.
Anytime, Tone. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Well, thank you all very much as well, and it's great to meet and speak to like-minded people. So I'll carry on your conversation, and I'll enjoy the listen, and I'll talk to myself while you're doing it.
It's always good to put a face to or a voice to the name. I'm glad you're part of the general chat, and I'm glad you're here today. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you all soon. Have a good day or night wherever you are in the world. Okay? And remember, we're all looking at the same sky from the same flat plane.
That's right. Be safe, Tony.
Okay, bye-bye.
Josh, can you start over?
Yeah, what was I want to hear this line of cause of death and everything again.
Did it even show the cause of death? I haven't read the story since the other day. When somebody sent it to me and I read through it, and it was just kind of like, well, that makes sense. Of course he's dead. Why not? So either way, if it's a false flag thing, if it's a hoax, now we'll never know.
No, I closed the damn article out.
He's dead or dead. He's real or isn't real.
Right.
So the thing is that all this is Richie from Boston talking to this website, this reporter from the website, The Mirror. And Richie says...
Oh, so Richie himself is the one saying the guy's dead.
Yep.
That's true. That is what it was. I knew he was the one who posted the video that I had seen. I didn't realize he was the one actually saying the guy's dead too.
Yeah, Richie from Boston says, well, the guy who gave me the video is dead now, so we can't prove it one way or the other. But since he gave me the video, I'm not going to give you any more information about him, and I'm not going to give you any information about me. The end. So that seems real hinky.
That's garbage. That changes my opinion on it right now.
That's a plant.
Yeah.
Okay, so then why would they fake a witchcraft ceremony?
That's what the fact is that it still went on there. They're still doing some shit there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. We forget that. There's some straight facts here. That's what we have to look at. Fact is, it was early morning. They were doing something there. They needed permission. Why were they doing it?
I think maybe the guy with the video cam was meant to be the bad actor hoax. Just a little double switch, double blind.
How'd Richie from Boston find out the guy was dead?
Wouldn't say.
Well,
Wouldn't
we
give
could
any.
probably get Richie on the show, I bet. I
Good
had it
idea.
on Twitter, I think. Let me see if I do. I think I have it.
Get Richie on the horn.
Call him up.
Get
Call him up.
Richie.
Make it happen. You're the guy. And we should get somebody from New York. We can maybe get that guy who popped on that night, Josh, and was like, I've been on that bridge. That guy was awesome.
His timing couldn't have been better.
I know, it was almost suspect, but it was amazing. It was really good.
It was almost like he was the straw that broke that man's mind.
Yep. Good old Mimster. I see he always calls us every day to try and get us back in a debate. You've been noticing that? We should invite him now. He's always a good time.
On our turf.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm gonna invite him now. We'll see. See if old Mimster has it in him.
Josh, you find that thing?
I've been looking at the stupid ball earthers on Facebook, talking about how they've seen the curve from the airplane.
Bro, why are you reading Facebook?
Seeing the curve. I just hate that. I see it. I can see the curve, and there's hundreds of them where they'll just write, you know how I know the Earth is curved? I can use binoculars to see a ship go mast first. You'll see it from the back. Like, no, you won't. Shut up. That sounds terrible, but
you will watch it disappear from the bottom up. You can also make it reappear again.
yeah, that's what they don't accept.
So what is it I'm looking for?
Huh. Whatever you were talking about.
This Richie from Boston thing?
I think so. Right before Big Tony left.
Do you want me to pull the article back up and reread it again? I'm confused.
Halfway.
I think we can all conclude it sounds suspicious now, though. But I remember what it was. Sorry, guys, we all blanked out. But it was like that was the red herring, was for us to be like, oh, this video's fake because of that guy and he was the bad actor. But like in all essence, in all reality, they actually did do a ritual there, and we know they did because they had to have access, and it was on this facility, and we know that the article that the CERN people said their response is bullshit because they're like, oh, there's tons of people and they come through here all the time. I'm sure there are people, and I'm sure they do come there, but not at 4 a.m. They come at like 1 p.m. when it's daytime, like a normal person would, right? So, anyways.
My view is that what they're doing there is so apart from God, and they're all so confused in theoretical numbers that they're just getting attracted to that sort of business, but just idle time and lust for achievement and passion, and then they like this stuff to leak out, leak around, and give steam. Like even if it's underground, CERN and magic and whatever the heck that was. And then they kill the guy. They add some mystery to it. I don't know. It's almost just like kind of promoting all those lost scientists who are confused and numbered, trying out different stuff because they can't get anywhere with the math they're trying for their whole life.
What do you think, Walt?
Well, I'm actually in the process of trying to find Richie, and it's kind of funny because the guy who followed me, named Richie from Boston on Twitter, doesn't actually seem to be the same gentleman that we just saw in that video.
What?
Yeah, it's a totally different guy. I'm just kind of freaked out about it because I just saw the name, assumed it was him because he has a YouTube channel and I have a YouTube channel, and boom, I just thought it was him. But looking at his profile, this guy is like the weight master and a weightlifter, and that's not the guy. So yeah, but I think that it seems to be just that same kind of thing, kind of what you were saying, James, and ties into what Hacksaw said about all these publicly displayed rituals that are always tied into the real rituals that are going on somewhere else, or right there in front of us. I mean, that's the thing they love to do is mock us and rub it in our face. That's part of their power trip. And I think at this point, that's part of what's going on with all these things being so in our face is they're so convinced that they've got everyone dumbed down and sheeped out and
that's how to do it, though, hey?
Fighting truth, and they're just showing it to us.
They do it in layers always, I think. Like if you're gonna do a ritual, you gotta have like a couple of crumbs that are misleading. I think it's perfect. And there's probably another deeper level that we don't even see just yet. Anyway, sorry.
Was there a satanic date on that? Is it possible that they were having the amateur kids kind of?
I was just thinking that, man. August 10th. If somebody can search, August 10th was the date.
Well, they were underground doing a real one, you know.
So these scenes were filmed on our premises, but without our official permission or not.
Permission at 4 a.m, right?
A spokesman.
Secure installation.
Adding that an internal investigation was underway. When asked to detail security procedures surrounding access to the campus, the spokeswoman said, IDs are checked systematically to the night or day. The spokesman for told mirror.uk.co.uk, this video is a work of fiction. CERN fills up with visitors over summer with users from across the world who come to CERN as a part of their work, and some of whom occasionally let their sense of humor go too far. This is what has happened on this occasion. CERN does not condone this kind of spoof. So I wonder what kind of spoof CERN does condone.
The work of fiction? I mean, anytime they certainly deny something. There's so many arrows pointing so many different directions on this one.
Right. But we're totally going to do an internal investigation on ourselves to see if we've done any wrongdoing, and we should find ourselves guilty. We'll let you know how that turns out.
Or James, check the God Moses feast schedule. Maybe there was one on August 10th that started.
I just found one. There's one 3 days before. There's a blood ritual holiday 3 days before on the 7th. So that's enough for me. It's close enough.
Was it filmed on the 10th or uploaded on the 10th?
Oh, that's a good. Interesting. I'm not sure. I just kind of remember this is like the third one though. You know, they did the where all the world leaders came and they did the tunnel ceremony. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Goddard Tunnel. That was so weird, man. Like, how do they even sell that? Like, I don't even know how they explain that away with all the.
Again, they're so convinced they've got us formatted out and sheeped out that no one's gonna even blink an eye anymore.
They must think it's a little weird.
approaching days that they'll just flaunt it. I mean, you know, it's all kind of been laid out as the way it's going to progress. It's going to get more and more rampant, more and more in our face.
No, that's true.
You know,
Sometimes
a choice will have to publicly be made at some point. You know,
yeah.
unfortunately. For others, I mean, I've got my choice made already, so it's all good. But others are definitely weighing that choice right now.
Mm-hmm. Whole lot of people.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I found Richie from Boston on Google Plus, and I'm following him, but I can't actually see a way there on there to actually send a message. So Josh, since you're the Facebook that guy, he's also on Facebook. If you go to his, I guess his YouTube, like I did, it's got a link there. But I'm not big on Facebook. I don't even know if I can log in anymore. Seems like there's a glitch between my computer I'm trying to log in and my tablet kind of logging in, and it's locked me out. So I couldn't figure it out. And the email address that it's all tied to is one I no longer have access to from an old cable system. So I really don't know how to get in it at all, which isn't a big thing because I never did it. But I was going to start doing the whole, you know, flat thing.
I'll be back in just a couple moments.
All right.
Clouds over there. That is.
My computer just won't do it. Why won't it not do it?
That's a really thorough fake stabbing.
It was a very thorough fake stabbing, right down to the amount of force she drove that fake knife into the fake ground or the fake body. I mean, that's a pretty decent fake stab.
It's almost like it had a spring-loaded blade. Or they really killed somebody.
Hey, Walt, I think that might be the same Richie from Boston. The big guy into weightlifting.
Maybe so. Show me on your screen. Or I don't know, maybe you don't want to show that on live, whatever, your Facebook page. I don't know. Oh, yeah,
Nope.
that's him. Yeah, that's the same dude. Okay, so I have him on Twitter. Okay, my apologies, Richie. Didn't think that was the same guy.
I've been posting public shit, getting on government watch lists for the last several years on Facebook.
Right. Well, I mean, there's nothing related to any of that on the first, like, 10 or 20 tweets as I rolled through them. So that's why I immediately was like, well, that's not him, I guess. And why would
Weird.
somebody call themselves that? You know, that was the other thing.
Maybe all of those important tweets get shadow banned.
That might be it, just like the rest of us seem to be having it happen.
Shadow ban, shadow ban.
All right, well then let me go say something to him.
Hillary Clinton stuff gets me shadow banned.
Right. We're already going down. So, okay, so this whole Hillary fake idea is that what was happening on stage in real life, and this guy was just in a fake audience with a camera up to fake filming something while all this was occurring somewhere else and being put up on a green screen. Is that the idea?
I guess they.
Got my head around it.
I don't know how they explain it to the audience, but it seemed like the audience was like in the pre-concert mode of waiting for her to kind of come on. Maybe they didn't know how long it was supposed to be, but then the TV went ahead with the press conference. Like she was strolled it out there, and I guess maybe they had some fake arms and signs up in the air and didn't block out the cell phone footage of people just kind of holding their camera up, waiting for the star to come out. And then, I don't know what they would have said to the people who were there. Did Hillary ever come out? Did they leave? Like, how many people were there? If any, maybe there's no one there. Maybe that's what's going on. There's like 77 people in an auditorium, so they're starting to like having green screen people into the crowd, and they can't do that unless they green screen her in too.
Maybe so. Okay, well, the reason I'm asking that main question.
Right. There's that thing with her health too. It might be possible she can't walk across the stage.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, was that she's just so many medical issues that she's just not able to make these types of trips like she used to be. So they're having to film crowds in one location. See, it looks to me like the warm-up act just got off the stage, right? So the crowd's still excited, waiting for Hillary to come out.
Nice and heated.
So they just film that and just wait for them to get bored, wait for her to come. Then they'll give it to the news, and they can just put that on the green screen and put her in front of it. So then make her look like she's walking out and talking to these people, and they're all out there cheering, hands up, waving. And they're just waiting for her to come out, and they can insert her via the green screen as if she's actually there.
But then how do they handle, that person, the live audience who was standing there holding up their cameras and, unbeknownst to them, the Hillary Clinton press conference had already started. And then it's over with, and then does Hillary come out? Do they tell these people, sorry, Hillary's not coming out, and they just don't put microphones in front of their face or like scrub their Facebook post?
All you gotta do is just go out and start telling the people around you that the world is flat and see what kind of reception you get. I mean, imagine these people were going out and saying, that press conference you saw with Hillary Clinton? I was there and she wasn't. I mean,
I was there and she wasn't.
Right. I was at that press conference. She wasn't there. That when you watched of her there? Yeah, that's not how it happened. I mean, if somebody did bother to come out and say something, who's going to put them on? It's going to have to be Alex Jones. It's going to have to be somebody else that's going to not be controlled by the media. Otherwise, they wouldn't get put on. Because that's how you do it. You just don't give them a voice. You don't give them a soapbox to say, what the fuck is this? Story on the news about this press conference. I was there. She never showed up. But I see her on the news, and now she's there. I mean, you just don't give them a voice. You just make him that sole person shouting into the wind, Nobody listens.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey, what's up, James? I was getting ready to plug a fucking radio show.
Nice. Is that Richie from Boston?
Yeah, that's Richie from. Up there where the smart kids are.
I hope one day you're not here. Something to that effect, he says. Yeah, that was a good movie though. And we lost Walt.
Yeah, Walt dropped out mid-sentence. I don't know where the hell he went.
Charging the flux capacitor to get another go out of his tablet. He would be all over that Back to the Future reference.
There he is.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah,
And heck, I
but
pulled out about 13 Bibles that I've kind of found that I know are different. And I don't really know that they're different. I've just pulled out 13 of them. I'll have to go through and sort them by translation. But
Did you do it online? You have 13 paper Bibles.
13 paperbacks. I got them sitting behind me.
How'd you get 13 paperback Bibles?
I told you I've got like 20 here. I just pulled out 13.
And they're all like different versions or whatnot?
I haven't been able to go through and make sure they're all different. That'll whittle it down some, I think. But I've got like, yeah, I've got study Bibles, concordance Bibles. I mean, I've got a good stack back there.
Wow. Yeah, let me know. I got a concordance here too and some other stuff.
And I've got a really old one too, so that'll help.
And I'm back too, guys.
Hey,
what's up?
welcome back, man.
I was always here, I just wasn't here.
You just missed Bible talk, so I'm sure you're happy.
Oh, replay it for me. Replay. In the beginning, there was the heavens and the earth.
Mm-hmm.
We were just kind of, we've come over some of the Mandela effect. Josh was updating me on where we left off.
We're doing a little cross-reference onto Psalms 19:1. You know, and we're going to see if the word firmament are disappearing from Bibles.
That'd be pretty interesting if it was.
There's also a verse about the sky being molten flat.
They might try a Mandela effect and take it all away.
It gets changed to something. I don't know what it gets changed to, but it's not molten glass.
And we've got no oh, Tony's still here, is he? Yep.
Yep, he's still here. He's listening.
I have a feeling he's on the job now, so we're just, waking up still. But anyways, we're still thinking about you, Tony.
Radio buddies right now.
What were you saying, Hack, about, like, what was the main point? Like, they're going to, have we noticed? Because that would be the way to do it, eh? Because that's a huge thing for people. They're like, left, right, and center. I mean, a lot of people don't listen to it or don't want to hear it, but there are like something like 68 apparent proofs of reference to a flat plane in the Bible. So eventually, when people find out it is flat and they start looking at these things, that's going to hold a lot of gravity if they start erasing those things out of the book. They start manipulating that book now. When people find out, what they thought was true, it's going to cause some issues for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody give us a thumbs down on the video too.
Good.
Does his name start with an R?
No. Me?
Yeah.
I combated him with a thumbs up.
But the Bible reads like with the presumption that God exists, like there's not evidence in there or proof of him. It's sort of just, once you sort of see it from that, you start to see other things come out, how it adds up. And the same thing is with the flat earth in the Bible. Once you start reading the Psalms and the Proverbs, it comes up in the four corners, and the foundation, the earth.
Good gosh, is that you or is that Rob? Who is that?
Rob, behind.
Mute.
Hot mic.
All right, sweet.
Rob.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh, so once you start reading it from the presupposition that it's describing a flat, what we the conception that we have, like the Hebrew conception, there's so many more verses that that just are hinting at it. And the Bible will say repeatedly, the earth does not move. It cannot move. And it will say this in Psalms or Proverbs in amongst the sentences that will be like, you know, really powerful, strong eschatological phrasings of praising the Lord for his works and what he's done and his everlasting stuff. You know, it's not mixed in with the stuff about like how to care for your sheep or make bread. You know, it's like mixed into the real stuff, and it sort of just gets overlooked. You know, even if you're reading it 400 years ago, the KJV or something, and you're thinking that it's a sphere, you just wouldn't feel, you would overlook it. But then once you start going back over it, like we all do with our new eyes, there's so many more verses. So like I've been converting this old guy. He's kicking like a mule on it. But finally, I just opened up the Psalms and was like, all right, we're going to go through it, and I'm just going to read them. And so I started in the first one and just started flipping through the ones that I knew.
Job too is amazing for references.
Job is great. I didn't even get to that stuff. We only hit, you know, about the fourth time that it said the earth doesn't move, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what it says, bro.
Like, guy, come on, it's not moving.
Yeah. Well, the part two with the day of the trumpets on when he made the sun stand still, right? Well, if he made the sun stand still, it implies that we don't move and the sun moves around us, which is exactly right. No?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and then the other little things that we always talk about, like a tree that you can see from the whole earth, like Jack on the Beanstalk, or seeing something in the sky. Everyone all being able to look up and see something at the same time, or being on a mountaintop that's can see the whole earth or see all the kingdoms at the same time, and God looking down and seeing us and seeing everybody, and also just like we talk about, man, you ain't got no up, brother. God is up. God looks down on us. You know, there is an up and a down. And as you sort of like read this in the Bible, it's describing to you an actual physical reality that people read the Bible and go, this really doesn't make any sense. It's because you don't have an up. It all just sort of falls in line, right? So I guess we're going through that, but then it is scary to see these verses changing. And I don't really know what it means long term. So you guys, everyone helps with that, sort of comparing verses and what's changing, how are they doing it? Are they changing all the online stuff is going wildly different. Like I was seeing one about movie quotes. They're changing Houston, we have a problem. They're changing like everything you've ever heard, basically, right? And so then they're doing this too with the Bible online. So I don't know, the paperback one is the one that throws me. So I'm glad that you got paperbacks, Josh.
It almost seems like they're trying to attack a power that people actually had with the internet as a medium. Because I often feel they might have tried to start the internet or something, but I don't know if they ever quite calculated how far-reaching and how accessible and how hard it is to control the internet. So maybe, with the CERN and the particles and the magnetic waves and everything, they're just trying to change the power we have by erasing things slowly. That'd be fucked up.
I hear that. They could also have been, feeding those into our psyche since the 80s or earlier, or however long, and ready to sort of like unzip them and kind of drop them out and really blow everyone's mind and confuse everyone about the time that they all start figuring out that the earth is flat.
You mean like what we saw as kids and what we all know is not really true? It was always this way, but we were,
right.
What? That's crazy.
Or orientating, right? Yeah. It's further disorientating. You believe less things. You believe more in dimensions. That's where they're taking the Mandela effect. I watched on the other night. It was some Einsteinian relativity dimensional guy going, yeah, see, this was our parallel universe, and this is where we crashed over, and I don't even know.
The split string theory multiplied is what you're saying. Yeah, they drool. That's like astro jizz for them. They love it. Oh, the parallel universes. There's 10 of you, and quantum mechanics 101.
Yeah. So
dribble.
Weaving these in as a failsafe to the programming in case we ever started waking up in the Matrix. They just started ripping out all of our memories and undoing everything because they made it all up in the first place. They have the records. They have the originals.
Well, one of the things, sorry to rail off topic again, but one of the things going back to the false flags, don't you guys find that with like what Tony was saying with the cameras, how like that's almost their number one enemy nowadays? That's why I think they must use like a huge plant to real ratio right now, because otherwise, with all the phones and with everything, they run the risk of being found out. So that's why I think we're seeing more of like the Dallas police officer one, where like nobody was there, it was behind closed doors, nobody actually saw anybody die, like nobody saw nothing, you know. So I just wanted to see if you guys thought that that was a problem for them, is how many phones we have out there, and could it basically screw their false flag?
Well, there's got to be a limit to how many people they can hire to fake a slaughter.
Yeah, you'd think. Unless they're just making people up. Then, or they're
I'd like to come back in if you can deal with the noise of the truck for a moment.
Sure, we can deal with it talking.
Yeah, okay. So I definitely think that I take this view on the internet, this whole phone thing. For starters, I think there is no limit on how many people they can hire. If they can run a world, if they can deceive an entire world population, then and money is no issue, etc., then they can hire as many people as they want to. As far as the false flag goes, I think that you're right about like the Dallas shooting and stuff like that. We had another one over here in Europe this week where a supposed car was found with 3 gas canisters in it. Apparently it's been set up by Islamic women, but nobody's seen it, you know, and they could easily show you a picture of a car or whatever, and nobody was there when the car was found, etc., etc. But then going back to the internet conversation, I certainly believe that they needed the internet to put Wi-Fi into everybody's houses. We know that these signals aren't good for us. It's one more, you know, the connection of everything, the grid of everything, if you like, the net of everything. And then we look at how the internet is going to be transferred to the UN in October.
What?
So I think it's like at the moment the Americans are the gatekeepers of the internet, are they not? Yeah. So on the 1st of October, an agreement has now been signed that responsibility is being handed over to the UN.
So
you can have a look at it, so you can research it.
What? So they're
Yeah.
basically a bunch of Satanist elites are going to control the internet?
Yeah, completely. I'm really surprised you guys don't know about this. It's been all over the internet and stuff. Yeah, have a look at this. The 1st of October this year is very worrying. People are talking over here. I mean, maybe you don't get it over there. Well, obviously you do, but
yeah.
People are talking about, you know, there's going to be a lot more censorship, blah blah blah. And it's very dangerous. But I think my take on it is this: is like you give everybody something which they come to rely on in such a massive way, and then when you start taking bits of it away, obviously you have more control. And I mean, we get that in so many other facets of life. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go back to muting the microphone so you don't get the noise for a moment. Okay, but that's my view on it. I think, you know, it's when they take it away, we're all going to be running around like headless chickens, and then they'll have real power. You know.
So
Agreed.
that is insane. September 30th, I think, is when the U.S. would, which is funny because I just read that it's something Obama declared he would never do, would be give up the U.S.'s control of that. But yet it appears like it's happening at the end of this month.
UN. I made a joke.
What did you say? I missed it.
He's not giving it up. He's taking it with him to the UN.
No, that's funny. No, but it's so true. That's funny though, man. Yeah, more control, and that's one of the scariest things. Just to answer you, Tony, to what you were saying, because this one's down the rabbit hole. Josh might have brought this up on his radio show. This one, but the black cube of Saturn. I mean, if you actually look deep enough into that rabbit hole, there's actually apparently a system, and we're in the the Matrix type thing, and the actual number of real souls left in the world is much smaller. So what they're fighting for, right? The souls of the good or bad, they're fighting for the souls. That's the game. But apparently, if you go deep enough in there, you find out that the ratio is staggering. Like there may be 80% plants in the actual real world and 20% souls left that are like open game and haven't been decided. And that, when you said that, man, is a scary fact. Because I don't know about you guys, but I felt that one time or another in my life when I just, in a place and you open your eyes and you're like, oh my God, everybody here looks like fake, or where the hell am I? Like, is this real? So I don't know. For me, it's a deep fear, to be honest, that there could be something like that. But you're absolutely right. We all talk about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the elites and the Council of 13 and the higher ups and the Queen and all that. But we don't actually maybe not comprehend how much money that is and what it'll actually buy. You're absolutely right. It'll buy the whole world. It'll buy 80% of the people and have them sitting in an office running fake accounts 24 hours a day. You're absolutely right. Anyways, that's my little rant. But thanks for bringing it up.
The limitation, he's got a great point, but the limitation to those things isn't the money, it's the secrecy. So you'd think that, hundreds and hundreds of people that are just amateurs brought off the street, paid however much, that's a bad strategy. It seems like their strategy would be more like a force multiplier, where they can make it seem, where they can make one person affect 10 or 100, or seem like a 10 or 100, or represent a 10 or 100 in different facets, whether it's the media or the police or something, or just having, groups of 3 people run in 4 different directions.
Well, see, here's the twist that I didn't say, because here's where it gets really strange. In that theory, in that situation, they're not human. The ones that are like the plants, like they're half human, half whatever, right?
What do you mean?
So when I was talking about the 80%, like to 20 real people, like actual humans, like the theory of the cube and all that suggests that the 80% that are plants aren't actually human. They're like hybrid. They're something else. They're human with something. So that would kind of say, like, if you were going to organize something, I hear what you're saying. It would be easy for people to blow it, but I mean, if they're not human and they're all working on the same goal, then it could work. They wouldn't blow it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
But I don't know. The whole thing's mental. To be honest, I don't give it much thought, but I thought I'd bring it up. I mean, there is a lot of crazy stuff if you dig deep into it, and that was just one of the funny things.
And heck,
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just looking over a couple of these. I'm about half and half now, and I've got a copy of the message here. So if we can exclude that, I'll read that one just because it was kind of funny. It made me laugh.
It will make you laugh, and then you want to beat somebody with it.
Yeah, it will. I mean, just knowing there are people out there reading this shit makes me laugh.
My friend reads this stuff, dude, and I ask him about the Book of Revelation. Not like ask him about it, but just talk about it like we do here, more or less. And he goes, "Oh, I don't believe in any of that stuff." Dude, what are you doing?
19:1.
What's the message?
The message is basically. Go ahead. You tell him better.
Oh, it's my understanding. It's like the softest translation of the gospel you could ever read. It would be like a children's Bible if you just sort of were like, let's take all the scary, meaningful stuff out of it. Anything that might pertain to manhood, just take that out of it and write a nice little like story. And of course, it sets up perfectly for the NWO and the Antichrist and all that junk, and it leaves out really everything. It's like 4 Bibles away from the Bible.
So it's almost New Age then, like love everyone, we are all together, be kind,
It's like at the final point into whatever the next big thing is.
It is, because it's like the common tongue translation. We'll just do comparative. This is the basic, Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork.
Yeah, what is it in theirs?
God's glory is on tour in the skies.
Come on.
Godcraft on exhibit across the horizon. Madam Day holds classes every morning, and Professor Knight lectures each evening.
Wait, what?
You're pulling my leg here, right? This cannot be a real
That's
book.
great, bro.
I'm looking right at it. It's in my hand.
What?
Don't even
Wheel up, rewind. Can you read that back?
Message is they don't read it. They listen to it on audio.
Well, I mean, I've been in churches where they've actually, I've seen it in the pastor's hands.
Oh, like seriously?
Oh, like seriously.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Now you guys wonder, huh?
Like
Not
this
really.
is. I own a copy of the message. This is my copy. My copy is long gone, but I've owned a copy that came from my church.
So let me ask a serious question then. That is mind blowing. But to the sheep, to the unknowing person who like hasn't been spiritual, and someone says, you know, like, hey, you should check it out, or they have that feeling in their stomach, and they go and they happen them on this stupid, silly, ridiculous, watered down version. What does that change their outcome in life? Like if they truly believe, even though they don't know, be fed some garbage. How does he look at that up above? I'm assuming he gives them fair chance, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You would think, but that could be a bone of contention with some. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, from the message, that was really 19:1 and 2. So that clears up anything at all. But so if you take the message and take it out of the count, I've got 3 19:1 that say skies and 4 19:1 that say firmament.
Wow.
Hey, check Genesis 6:3 for me.
And then John 3, I want to hear what they botched, the famous one.
Well, I guess the question is, which translation would you like me to read from?
Start where you will, sir, and see what you come across different.
I want to hear it in the message again. That's ridiculous.
Right.
All right, well, I guess we'll just start there so we can make fun of it. Which one did you say, Walt?
Genesis 6:3.
Oh, yep. Great verse.
Stupid thin pages.
My Tums, they're acting up again. A bit of an inside joke, folks. Sorry.
Right.
It always seems the late night Tums, though. Right? It's always around midnight.
Yeah, those
So you
midnight thumbs.
Just 3, or?
I think he means
you can start at 1. And go
verse.
yeah, I mean,
it's got
fine.
giants in the land and separated 1 through 4, talking about giants in the land. It's a little like heading on this.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
When the human race began to increase, with more and more daughters being born, the sons of God noticed that the daughters of men were beautiful. They looked them over and picked out wives for themselves. Then God said, I am not going to breathe life into men and women endlessly. Eventually, they're going to die. And from now on, they can expect a lifespan of 120 years. This was back in the days, and also later, when there were giants in the land. The giants came from the union of the sons of God and the daughters of men. These were the mighty men of ancient lore, the famous ones.
That's not butchered. I mean, it is.
It's not slaughtered, but
bad.
it's definitely not the same.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
And it still said the sons, plural, of God. That's interesting. I figured they would have hatcheted that one up.
And which one did you say, James?
The most. I think it won't be ridiculous now, but John 3, for God so loved the world, that one, the famous one.
Oh yeah, no, that was definitely probably not going to be changed. They'll
No.
probably
I just
verbatim.
can't. I just couldn't believe the verbiage in the first one, like when that they actually use those terminology. Like, who are they trying to appeal to? A young hipster crowd or hip hop people? Like, I'm so out of touch. Who are they trying to reach?
It was a younger crowd, more contemporary crowd. I mean, a lot of the churches, at least around here, have been having separate services, one for old people and one for younger people, essentially. One is the more traditional, normal kind of church service you would have gone to when you were a little kid, the kind your parents went to, versus the contemporary, where now it's not a pipe organ and the church choir. It's a live band with electric guitars and a trap set of drums, and everybody's rocking out and jamming. And the pet, they're barefoot and long hair and tattoos. So that's the kind of crowd they're trying to appeal to with the message.
Wow, interesting. Thanks.
All right, well, this is again because each verse isn't labeled; they're kind of grouped together. So this is 16 to 18, which works out well because I thought 3:17 was much better.
We lost Rob.
With 17. Yeah, not necessarily surprised. I'm surprised Rob hung out on as long as he did. We busted out the Bibles.
Yep, we can't blame him. We love him anyways.
Before we turn off, I wanted to make one point about that last one, but go ahead. I'll do it after.
Okay, we'll come to you right after this.
All right, and this is pretty basic here too. So, this is how much God loved the world. He gave His Son, His one and only Son, and this is why, so that no one need be destroyed. By believing in Him, anyone can have a whole and lasting life. God didn't go to all the trouble of sending His Son merely to point an accusing finger, telling the world how bad it was. He came to help put the world right again. Anyone who trusts in Him is acquitted. Anyone who refuses to trust in Him has long since been under the death sentence without knowing it. And why? Because that person's failure to believe in the one-of-a-kind Son of God when introduced to Him.
Interesting.
Very confusing, and there's so much eschatological wash.
Still watered down. Very watered down.
Yeah, so the thing on the I will not breathe breath into men and women forever. Their days numbered 120 years.
Yeah.
That was because of an action that men took.
Well, we're always taught. Well, it's an interesting place. It's an interesting spot for God to mention that that's how long our lives are going to be. He's sitting there talking about what the fallen angels have done and how this has created a problem. And then he goes, I'm not going to contend with men forever. He's only going to live 120 years from now on. Meaning that basically, however this is playing out, the advantage was to that side. So that more or less the way that God set it up, we could kind of go on forever in our lives, confused, lost, doing the wrong stuff, him being patient and merciless. But he kind of has to get to the point here in time because he has an actual plan that's like the next stage and the stage after that. And he doesn't want to contend with our inability just to accept the truth instead of being misled with, with all these certain rituals and the powers that they might bring and sex, drugs, rock and roll. He's long suffering, but he's not going to contend with us forever.
I was looked at it as like kind of like a knock because of the sin, right? Of the murder and all that stuff that happened with Cain and his brother. And I kind of looked at it like, you know what? You guys had it made. You were living 900 years before. That's fine. I always thought it was more of a consequence myself, but it was a great perspective back.
Well, Adam lived longer than everybody else.
Right, but everybody lived longer in those days. Like it was after that point where he said, that's it. Only 120 from here out.
Well, this point in Genesis,
And
I think
yeah,
after.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Where is it in Genesis? Is it after the flood?
No, this is 6:3.
Yeah.
So this is
So this has to
before.
be.
Yeah, this is before. This is before the flood, but after the Nephilim have come and tainted the bloodline.
But then we
So
also,
maybe it's a result of the genetic tampering or whatever.
That's what I thought. That's exactly right.
well, we also know that Noah, now all those people lived way longer. than 100.
Right, way longer, and that was after this. So that's interesting that that's in that part. It really
So
is.
it was God prophesying that, I don't know, whenever this kind of thing was going to end and get all sort of resettled, and he was going to give his law down.
Right. I'm not playing this game this way again. We're not having this long-term shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look,
That's what I think.
Right.
Of how I see the way that he did it was the first stage was kind of a free-for-all, and then he sort of rolled down his law that was impossible. The next thing he did was, and all of it sort of to build us up and close us off.
It's what isn't it typical though when you look at it this way? Isn't it what a father would do? He would give you free reign at first. He would yeah, like it all fits. Like he's a good father.
I constantly feel like an adolescent with God, where he's allowing me to sort of go back whenever it may be. It's almost like the freedom to be a child in a moment, and then an adult, and then a real grown-ass man who takes accountability.
And give you enough rope to hang yourself. And
well, yeah.
Like, you keep dealing with the same issue, and it's like, I feel like I'm 12 or something dealing with this.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit like giggling with you, like, yeah, like you're kind of a kid in some way. So, but he just lets you. It's like he doesn't care that you're immature. He's growing you in that way. It's fantastic.
Amen.
I learned a long time ago never to pray for patience. All that does is give God an opportunity to put in your path an opportunity for you to need patience.
To lose your patience.
Do you want to talk? You guys want to talk patience, man? How about Abraham, dude? The guy. Do you know how much time went by when he first talked to God, and God's like, okay, I'm gonna make you famous. You're gonna have a son. It was like something like plus he was 70 or 80 or 90 at the time, and then he had to wait something like 4 years, and then he had to wait another 25 years. So like that's patience, and that's patience. Holy.
Mm-hmm. Abraham's story. But it's very Old Testament-y.
I know, but the neat thing about the Old Testament is if you look hard enough, you can see Jesus in it everywhere, and that's what most people don't realize. You just have to look. It's all the foreshadowing, all the groundwork is all there.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, we don't want to bore everybody with this talk that may not be on the same page. So I don't know, what were you guys talking about before we chased Rob out of here?
How did it wrap up, anyways, Josh, with the firmaments? Half and half?
So far, but I've only made about 8 Bibles in. I'm looking at 5 more sitting here. So
before I forget, I was trying to remember what we were talking about, and one of my questions, because I was asking about the Hillary footage we watched.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in my early days, not really early, I guess, but as I worked my way through the early days of this rabbit hole, I found quite a few interesting little things about the elite and the power people and the things they're, capable of and the things they do and the rituals and all that. But I also found this level of, I don't know how to even explain it. These videos of like, okay, it's a press conference and Obama's standing there talking, and all of a sudden his face goes up onto the side of his head. Is the only way I can describe it. And it's like is it a video glitch? But it's really weird looking. And then there's another one where he's talking and his hand is not there at the end of his sleeve. It's like it's some kind of stealth glove he has on. You can't see his hand. I don't know. It's just a lot of weird, glitchy things like that.
There's a lot of weird stuff with him.
it's a lot of like hologram technology failure and all that. That's what they call it, because it's hiding their true, what they really are for them and all this stuff. So yeah, interesting, but I don't need to go there. I'm too busy trying to figure out where I live. But now that I'm seeing this, it's like, well, maybe that's what that is some of this trying to do these video trickeries and fake conferences, and it's not working out. I don't know. Have you seen it, Josh or Hacksaw?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. What I've not seen is one of those done in like high def. I've never seen a high def video of one of these hologram failures.
There is one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll show you one.
It's the one that Juan's talking about.
I saw it.
It's above a doorway, right? When the guy's explaining it, how it works.
Yes.
It's almost in the realm of the reptilian eyes if we're gonna actually go there tonight. But I guess we are.
I really don't know about all that. I don't know. I think that's more diversion and.
Well,
I think we all know who's walking around in those.
Oh yeah.
Meat bags, right, Josh?
Yeah. I get you.
Looking for tells if somebody was a hologram on TV.
Or something else. Or they're using the energy field to keep up the facade of being human, right? That's what the theory is why the glitches happen, right? It's some sort of body surrounding hologram technology.
Yeah, that's the theory, but I think it's a little bit different. I think it's hiding a whole different thing. I don't think it's alien reptilians from wherever they claim to be from.
Mm-mm. And what we believe they are anyways is more electricity and magnetism and those kind of powers anyways. So it would make sense that they would have those kind of glitches as opposed to like...
I don't even know what this is.
Do you know what I mean?
So when I'm all about the digital holograms. You know, I'm all over the CGI stuff.
Well, will be, right?
Yeah, I started looking at, I think they mostly do it with newscasters. I think they do it where they fake people. That's why they made, Fox News or all the sports stuff. Like everything is so, the lighting on it is so crisp and clean and neon-ish, so that it's almost sort of like a video game. And you think, oh, they're trying to appeal to kids a little bit. But now it's to the point where you almost can't tell what's fake on the screen, even when you're watching the news.
That's it. I was just gonna say that. Wait till 8K comes out, man. Jeez, we're not gonna know
almost
what's
like
real.
A digital wash, like almost a whole Disney show you're looking at. And so I started looking at these people like maybe they're like a puppet. Like maybe they're just, this whole scene is set up to look normal to me so that they can give me a hologram person, because the stuff that she's feeding me, the news, they really can't give to like a human, because like we always talk about, they sort of can't control it, or it's just way easier. Whether the hologram is, I don't think it's like a fake robot or something, but it's maybe it's like Weird Science, fully CGI woman who is, you look at these women in the middle of the daytime and you're like, where did you, I know that I've seen a lot of beautiful women in my time, but these things are pristine, And so I started looking a little bit closer, and they're just too pristine. And it started to have all these little glitches that would go on. Namely, like they have to like dial in a fuzzy focus, because you're basically looking at a two-dimensional transition when it goes through your screen to you from where they are. I don't know how it works, but it seems to be that the hologram itself gives itself the dimension, the third dimension, that it doesn't really exist. So that when the camera is focusing on a person's face, that if it's like a macro lens, the depth of focus is really narrow, like just right on their nose, and so their eyes are behind it and their teeth are in front of it, like that, or their chin. And when you see a real person, their teeth are always really clean and crisp and in focus. That's always like what they focus in on. But these fake newscasters always have fuzzy teeth. Their eyes are perfect, like they look like they're digital avatar eyes and nipples and cleavage and lips, and then their teeth are fuzzy. Know what they're doing. But the holograms seem to be to just do stuff right in front of our face.
Dude, I think you're right, man. Did you guys see the latest meme? I think it was a meme, but where it's a crowd running in like the Middle East, and then you zoom in on the picture, and it's like the same thing stitched together. It's so funny. I have to find it, but I think you're right. I think it's going to get to the point with technology and virtual reality and 4K, 8K that I think the whole purpose here is blurred lines. They're going to make it so you don't know what's real and not real anymore. Because at that point, then we're really in trouble.
And I think the news is going to be really assistant in controlling people, not so much.
But they always have. That's their role, right? They're bought.
It moves on, and it's like blatantly, blatant. They might need fake newscasters. So I think they're setting people up so that the NWO newscasters may be just basically fake. And just like the movies, just calming people all the time, telling them like half lies, and that stuff over there is this, and that stuff over there is that. So they can keep raiding Americans' houses and stealing their guns and having gunfights in the street with people watching TV thinking, oh, like, what side am I on? I'm on the TV side. Like the news will keep it going, the deception for longer and longer. I think they're going to be doing that with holograms. Because eventually newscasters just may like leaving.
Well, bro, see, I don't even think it's going to go that way. I think in the future, like the next ideal thing will be like Total Recall style, right? So you'll have your little box and you plug it in. You'll see a 3D hologram of the newscaster reading it in your living room if you want, or on your wall, projected, right? I think eventually they won't have a need for real people to do any of that stuff, and we won't be able to tell the difference anyway. So why not? Why not switch everything to digital right now and just slowly change everything on? We wouldn't know. We don't even know if we can't even tell that a meat truck it didn't run over people. We think, you know what I mean? Like we think planes hit a tower. And come on, there's no way we would notice.
There's just something about it ties back into the steep decline of society and keeping people kind of blinded to it as long as possible, because they really kind of need us to be blind in the end, because we could kind of, like George Bush said, if they knew what we were doing, they would chase us down and lynch us in the streets. And like they say, dead men can't tell secrets, and they can't make up bullshit laws or steal our money either. So there's a part of them that's scared of that in reality. So I think that as society, if this goes the way we always talk about, or I do, where it just kind of tips over, the media is going to play a huge role. They have bots now that are writing news stories and stuff. I mean, you could be going out and picking up a whole fake San Francisco Chronicle for a year and a half, telling you everything's fine, the weather's cool. You're hearing bombs and fires and all sorts of crazy stuff, but I don't know.
Well, see, here's part of the rub is that they are scared of that happening, but they're also hiding it right underneath the masses' noses. They're saying, well, no, we're not going to sort of create this whole new digital reality where everyone's living like the Matrix. But here, play Pokemon Go and enjoy our new augmented reality. And if you like that, wear these new headsets for your virtual reality gaming.
It's going to be everywhere.
It's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, dude. Like 8 or 10 years ago, you'd say something like that to people, and they'd be like, that's really dumb and far-fetched and doesn't sound healthy, and who would go for that? Why would society ever turn that way? I remember there was a time when you didn't answer your cell phone in public. You treated it like it was a phone.
I remember that. I do. Or you showed it off. You're like, oh my gosh, look at this, guys. I got a flip phone. But then it went away. Oh, we got Tony.
Yeah, sorry, can you hear Gordon?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go.
Over here in the UK, they're really pushing the VR headsets, and it's all part of the transhuman agenda, I think, and yeah, once again, it's as you all say, it's how I don't know, find the right words really, but it's the confusion between reality, what's real and what isn't real, and I think it all ties into something to do with our free will. So the more they give you Pokemon Go, the more they give you the virtual reality headsets, all that sort of thing. They can't just they can't just make us do it. We have to choose to do it. So we choose these things, and then once we've said yes, you can, then they hit us with it. You know, a lot bigger. You know, it's all part of this free will. We all have the free will, but we all accept what they give us.
Very good point. Just look at how mad and upset you get if you lose your phone for an hour or two.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely here's the carrot, and we'll dangle it in front of you, and you'll want it, and then once you've wanted it and you've accepted it of your own free choice, then we're going to show you what's really inside the carrot, and you're not going to like the taste of it. You're not going to like the taste of it at all. In fact, it's not a carrot, it's a great bloody big stick, and we're going to beat you with it, you know? I'm going to mute myself again now anyway, I've said my little bit.
And there's no returns either on that, unfortunately. You can't bring it back, and you can't be like, sorry, I didn't want this. Because the hook's already, it's already in your stomach at that point. But, yeah.
How about you, Walt? Did you have something to say? I thought you were getting ready to say something. Well, guess not. Well, that's good stuff, guys. That actually might be pretty good timing. I'm starting to wind down a little bit. It was a long day for me.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I mean, I'm still around if anyone wants to keep on, but if you want to pop out, that's no trouble. And I think, oh, here he comes again.
I'm back. I think I hung myself up that
time. You were saying something, eh? Well, go ahead. Just before Josh was asking you what you wanted to say there.
Actually, I didn't. I thought I had myself muted, but I mean, yeah, I'm listening in. I'm trying to find the video I was talking about. I don't know where it's at. I don't know. It's hard to find apparently.
Which one?
I mean, the high def one with the whole head shifting over to the side of his face thing.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
I mean, I've watched it within the last month or so, and I can't find it anywhere on my history or anywhere else. So I don't know.
I'll tell you guys something funny right now. It just doesn't sound believable, but it did happen literally 30 seconds ago. Whenever whoever brought up Obama, you did. Well, I've been watching PBS, and like all of a sudden he came on the screen, and top it all off. While he came on the screen, 2 flies went right by his head. I took a picture on my camera phone. I just thought that'd share. Sounds hilarious. It's weird.
That's too funny.
Mm-hmm.
The devil's in charge of all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, for a lot of us, I agree with all kinds of stuff, and especially in my own research, studying the occult and bloodlines and stuff. You have to actually give permission, and I mean there are some loopholes around it. Like one of the videos I totally really like. I mean, I don't follow that denomination of Seventh Day, but the Roger Morneau testimony about how the way those rules can be circumvented by if somebody gives you an object, I don't like. But yeah, no, there's a lot of power to it. There's a reason that they do these things. There's a reason that they do it. Do you know what I mean? Like with kind of like energies onto objects and stuff.
Oh yeah, man. It's all about consent, and unfortunately, we can be tricked into those things. Some people can. I mean, those of us who've found our way through this madness and found our way to the Creator know our way through those minefields now. But a lot of people do get tricked into, falling for whatever. I, for a long time, did a lot of research on out-of-body experiences, people who had, near-death experiences. My uncle had it while he was on the operating table for a heart attack. I did a lot of research on just that whole idea of coming back, reincarnation, if you will. And what raised my suspicions initially is when I found out that for some time the Catholic belief system had that in their tenets, that that was something they back in the day used to talk about, was reincarnation. And that made me go, well, if they're saying it's something, then I might want to.
Really?
Yeah,
Did they say that?
that's what I read years ago, like probably 15 or 20 years ago. I found that out when I was into a lot of research, and so that made me kind of wonder about that idea. So in some of the things I found in this last year and a half, 2 years of research, this idea of the people, or not people, the entities, the principalities that are in control of this realm, if you will, who tend to run things, who tend to be in power. Well, some things that people come back with, if you will, from these near-death experiences and from these out-of-body experiences and everything, the entities they're dealing with let them know that it doesn't exactly end the way that most people think it does. And there's this whole thing of, the tunnel of light, and grandma or Fido or Aunt Sue or whoever meeting you there. Right, meeting you there and guiding you to the lords of karma, or to Krishna, or to whoever your personal deity is. And you're shown this life review, and this life review is not just a video presentation. You're reliving these things, every emotion, every experience, everything you made someone else feel, good and bad, the ripples it took away from them and they carried forth into other people's lives, and how you affected that as well, and the good and the bad. But they generally, it always tends to outweigh to that whole bad side. And it's like you're offered this choice of, well, you could go back and learn again and take this knowledge and go evolve more and grow and change and become more like what you should, and fix these things you've done to these people, these horrible, guilty things you've done. And oh, right, wait, before you go, here's the deal: we're going to erase all your memories, and you're not going to remember any of these things you've learned this time around. Does that make any sense? Is that any kind of way to learn things? Is to have to maybe guesstimate some stuff you might have experienced in a past life? It's just another trick, another system to make you to agree to be in their system again, and coming back to this.
Did you see the clip, Walt? That reminds us of something Josh and I watched, where it was the Soul Trap episode of Star Trek Voyager, where they kept coercing her.
I know it well. I know it well.
Yep. I hear what you're saying. Good point, man. But that's one of the really true mysteries, right, to a lot of people, is death, because you don't know. Nobody knows, and you can't come back and tell people, oh, this is what happens. This really happens. It's one of the truest mysteries left in life, unless you have faith and you know, right? So for most, they often wonder, what is death like? When am I going to die? I don't want to die. Typical usual.
Well, there's this idea, and you actually kind of tapped into it when you shared your dream with us not too many, I guess about a week or so ago, or it's been longer maybe, Hack, about this quiet approach to things. Instead of yelling the prayers, you went really quiet with the prayers, and that seemed to work. And that kind of ties into something else that I've kind of come across in some of the things I've uncovered. At the moment of passing over, dying, moving on, whatever you choose to call it, euphemistically, there's a lot of teachings and a lot of clues and things that point to that very idea, to quiet your mind and not have expectations, not have, like a projection of what you think is going to come, or whatever teachings you've grown up with, whatever your cultural teachings are. That by actually quieting your mind, you go to the place you're intended to go. You don't get trapped in the tunnel of light. You don't get trapped in the colorful carnival of whatever over here, and whatever your belief system that might have trapped you here and kept you in this place. Because I know I've been around this merry-go-round a time or seven, and part of that were things I agreed to when I came back again. And again, that's getting off onto a whole different show. We can do a whole different 3 or 4 hours.
Do you actually? Sorry, do you truly feel like you've
Yeah.
been
Oh
been
yeah.
around?
There's no doubt about that. I yeah, there's no doubt. And I also know other people who have. Let's just say I've come across people in my life that when I saw them from either across a room or met them in a crowd or met them in a convention or met them wherever, I knew without a doubt that this person was part of my soul tribe, that we all are here for a purpose and we know what we're here to do. Sometimes we forget, we get lost in this world.
What
Because
if it's
unfortunately, this world is thick and easy to get lost in. But
what if you're mistaking that for an innate another
no,
sense? What if it's
soul
just
recognizes soul. Trust me on this one. When I walk across a room and hug a person that's a complete stranger, and I know instantly who that person is at their soul level, and I've never laid eyes on them before, it's an instant recognition, and it's occurred at least 6 different times in my life. I've
could
dreamed
it not
about
be your
people.
gift though? Could it be a
Maybe
gift of
so. Maybe
yours?
that is. Maybe possibly so. Maybe that is. Maybe I don't know. I just know it's happened. I've dreamed about these people and meet them weeks later. I meet them at a conference and see them across the room, and instantly we walk to each other and just embrace and know
No,
everything about each
the
other.
only reason I ask is because I've experienced the same thing. And when
Hmm.
I've explained it to people, they've always said, perhaps it's just that you're very perceptive, you're very emotional, James. You're very good at perceiving and picking up on people. Like I can,
Oh no, I have that too. I definitely have
yeah.
that. I have to block that a lot of times in big crowds that I get overwhelmed with. It
I
takes a
mean,
lot of
the problem with that position and what I have is you have to be careful not to be prideful and too quick to judge. But like 90% of the time, I can look at someone or walk in a room and I'll know right away the energy and who is what and what's what, right? So, I just thought I'd put it out there that maybe it's because you're so perceptive that you can see them and there's that recognition that they're the same as you, and that's why. But no, I believe you, man. I totally believe you. Trust me. I felt it. But that's a huge, I mean, thing too. That's the New Age dogma right there, right? Reincarnation. You come back and come back and come back. But it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense with this model and with us, being individually chosen. But I just thought about it now, Walt. That doesn't necessarily mean that even if the Creator wouldn't send people back either. That's something that we know could happen. So I kind of am looking at it in a different way.
Sorry, we're all just sitting here in silence. That's
All of us are contemplating. I know. That's good. That's good to throw things out there that get guys thinking that are kind of jaded in this world of things we've all explored. So that's cool. That's cool.
Hmm. Another topic that came up today, which is probably a very real topic, and those listening may have similar experiences, is at this point, um, a lot of people seem to be getting the wind out of their sails with the movement. There's not a lot of new information coming out. There doesn't seem to be a lot of forward momentum that we had when BOB sent out that tweet, and like everybody that wasn't involved started getting on board. So I think that's a common problem. People maybe losing patience and seeing the scale of like how much opposition they face. Like people in their group have said they just get tired of fighting. Tired of beat down, and things may not ever change. And And then it goes circumvents right back to that thing Tony and Josh were saying. Is like, is it what I do? Is it actually helping, or is it like hopeless? Is there any hope that can actually change this around? So kind of like I guess a hangover, a flat earth hangover. I think a lot of people are experiencing. Let us know if you are too.
I mean, it happens. I think if you immerse yourself into anything the way that flat earthers tend to immerse themselves into the flat earth, you are going to experience that hangover. I mean, you reach those highs, you're going to have to come down. That's just the nature of the beast. And for those of us that have been in it in a while, it'll happen more than once. You'll have several ups and several downs. Again, ebbs and flows. That's just the way life is. Everything is like that. I mean, you just learn to deal with it.
Well, see, being emotional, that's the hard part, right? We have emotional people have a hard time managing the highs and lows. That's me to a T.
See, my issue was always never having the foresight to realize that it's only temporary. Never seeing the big picture and recognizing all the highs and lows that happen everywhere, all the time, no matter what. I would get so focused on the one particular high or the one particular low and think that was it. If that was the high, I was going to ride it forever, and if that was the low, then that was going to be the worst.
The end of the world.
Yep.
Sounds familiar, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I never had a filter.
You're still here. Hello, hello.
I think it was just come at me and go right to my core, and then I would have like emotional stuff that wasn't like managing highs and lows or something. It was almost like with velocity, just not like stuff that would emerge out of me, but inside, like I just wild swings of feeling. That's how I used to feel.
It's very honest appraisal. That's true. There are a lot of feelings associated with going through it. The fever and the madness of when you first start looking at it. Your eyeballs are glued to the computer. You're watching video after video. You're like, this can't be. No way. I mean, I love that. That's like the first butterflies of in a relationship, I found, But the good thing about this thing is that there's no force that can knock the legs off this one. Like, this ain't gonna die or get covered up or forgotten. Like, this is it. So that's what keeps me coming back every day.
Yeah, this is the one that, like, anyone that was ever talking about conspiracy theories, you just laugh. Anything but, in 1985, some guy talking about the NSA or the Area 51. It's
a tinfoil hat.
Yeah,
right.
Like, it just makes everything a joke. And not only that, but it explains stuff.
Tony.
Hi, yeah, I've stopped for a minute, so I thought I'd join back in. It's been really interesting. I think it's really, really important when you're talking about the collective, etc., to really focus on the I. We all have to change our own lives, in my belief, anyway. I certainly don't push this. In my belief, in my opinion, we all have to change our own individual lives. We do what we can. I mean, I'll give you some instances in ways that I've tried. I have tried, and I am in the process of changing my life myself. I now grow most of my own vegetables. I hardly shop in supermarkets anymore. I've got a couple of chickens, make eggs. Little things like this. I've got some solar now. Things like this. It's an individual thing. So I try and live my whole day. I'm always quite a positive person. I get the lows just like everybody else. I get the moments of self-doubt. I go, oh my God, what am I doing? Am I crazy? Have I lost my head? I struggle with the religion side of it sometimes, but the more I see the satanical worship, the more I see things, the Satanism in advertising, things like the monster drinks, for instance, with the big
Yes.
all those sort of things. Those things. The belief that the world powers, that the people behind all of this, or whatever they are, the belief that they have in Satan, gives me more belief in God, and I struggle with belief in God. I mean, I was brought up in an evangelistic household, and I walked away from religion as a 14-year-old.
I walked away at 16 because I was brought up Christian Reformed and had to go to church every Sunday, and I couldn't buy anything. Sometimes we'd have to go twice. And I tell you, Tony, you are preaching to the choir, brother, because, like I said, every stinking road led to the evil. And the way, if you look into how much these guys hate God and how much they love to like reverse His word and trash Him, and like their whole program is mocking it, you know it's fucking real, bro. You know it's serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's something I've had a struggle with, and I do struggle with, but I definitely, I believe in our Creator. I don't believe in church, and I definitely think that all we need is ourselves. Like, I mean, it's fantastic to be within people of like-minded, but I mean, when it comes to your path and your term with God or whatever, you know, our body is our temple, our body is our church. If you look at some of the stuff, you know, like when you look at the map of the eyeball, you know, that's the flat earth map and things like that. And, you know, all the secrets are within us. And I mean, I did a lot of research on before I became into flat earth, and I started looking at God again more and all that sort of thing. I did a lot of research into Wicca and you know, like the witchcraft and all that sort of thing. And again, you know, a lot of it's very tangible. You use energy. You can make things happen, tangible things happen. You know, I've got, you know, my adopted father lives in New Zealand. He's lived over there for 15 years. He never ever wrote me an email, right? We get generic emails from my stepmother, you know, to the whole family, but he never personally wrote me a letter or wrote me an email. I sat down one night, I was looking at some Wicca teachings about communication spells and things like this, so I decided
to do an incantation.
Yeah, so I got rid of all the nonsense of the candles and everything like that, and I just did pure thought, and then I moved it onto a digital age, if you like, as well, because I wrote a text and I said, like, Dad, just write me a letter, please write me a letter, handwritten letter or a communication of some sort, but make it just to me. And then I deleted the text, and all I did was just meditate and think for half an hour. The very next day, I got a 4-page email from him saying, "Hello, son, I've just got a new email at work, and I don't know why I've never done this before, but here's how things are going." And it was 4 pages long. And I've done this a lot, you know, and so energy is tangible. God is real because you only have to look at how the superpowers hate God. So if you put the two things together, the tangible energy, the tangible thought, God is real. I've actually got goose pimples on my arms now, just mentioning it.
Me too.
And then, it's like, and then you feel the resonation inside you, in your stomach, up your legs, up your head, up your back, and you know that's real.
That's what they want to separate us from, that feeling. That's why they hate it. They hate it.
Yeah, and you can't. And you know, it's undeniable. That really is it. It's undeniable.
Truly undeniable. Great.
Yeah, what you're doing there is powerful stuff. Trying to live normal, you know, a free, unpolluted life. Because there's people alive today in the system who think you can't live, you know, without a grocery store.
Yeah, and that's really sad. I think that's really sad. You know, it's like we are capable of growing stuff. We are capable of, you know.
No money in that, though. There's no money in that. And then we get healthy, and we're not. Then they're not pushing the feminization program against men that they've been working for so long. The homo agenda. Sorry to say it, and I don't mean to offend, but it's all part of their trident. It's just another end to the spear of the boiling that's coming faster and faster and faster now. Like, things are happening quickly.
You know, in this day and age, nobody should be on the grid. You know, like, if rather than spend billions on another nuclear power station, you know, give everybody a solar panel on their roof, give everybody a wind generator. And okay, big business may still have to be on the grid, but we are more than capable of producing electricity for everybody's home without being on a grid. You know, it's just
crazy.
Like
we are more than capable of feeding the entire world, which we don't.
Exactly. Exactly, and it's ridiculous. It's and it's all part of this big agenda. So, anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to say goodbye again because I need to get going again. That was just a quick stop. So, okay.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you,
I'll still be
Tony.
listening. I'll still be listening. Thank you. Bye bye.
Safe travels.
Fantastic.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's see that, but that's the thing, right? Is doing it, and that's what he was saying. I think his main point was like, it's great to be involved with this group and everybody, but ultimately the decision and the action has to come from you inside.
Absolutely. People tell me that, we can never make a difference, the world will never change. And I tell them that's the only way the world will change is when each person will decide for themselves and make that change themselves. Once people start to change themselves, the world will change. But that's how it happens, is that internal change.
It's very true that all that God is spirit, God's on the inside. That guy is right. The religion and the churches today have hurt, and there is now a new spirit being called out, where these people are coming out of the wilderness and they know intuitively that they don't need to be told anything, and so they're being free from all this pollution, or getting free from it, or undoing it, or reversing it. But at the same time, like we're doing, there's a reason why we're kind of made the way we are. We need to talk. We need to rub elbows. The Bible says you can't live in the woods. I didn't call you to be a hermit. You gotta have to church up. You gotta participate. You gotta encourage your brothers, because I work. He does hard work on people, and he needs you to help the people out he's working on, and vice versa, that kind of thing. Or you'll just be stunted, or who knows? I don't know. I mean, we're here for each other, right?
I'm here for you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
You don't think he calls some of us to be hermits?
Yeah.
Clearly said, I know this one because I had to heat it. It says, don't, it's I don't actually have the words on the tip of my tongue, but it says, don't stay off alone all the time like some of you want to do. Come down and come to church and see your brothers and strengthen them and encourage them and be strengthened and encouraged. And that was like me, because I was like, I don't want to go down there with those people. Yeah, weirdos.
That's just the conspiracy in us, because I mean, if all of us have the same thing, we all love our little quiet time and our me time and our little rituals and habits that we all do. We're all a bit of
We do, or I
my
do, but I
experience.
also like the social part. I like interacting. I like finding people who want to talk and discuss and throw new ideas. That's why I like talking with you guys all the time. I mean, we've been doing it forever on Twitter, but doing it
Yeah, this is so much
face-to-face,
better.
or close to face anyway. It's just
I want a show. We should set up conventions. Like, I want a flat Earth convention.
that's where I was heading with this.
Man.
It's like we should figure out a way to meet somewhere. I don't know where. I guess at the North Pole, because that's the middle ground for everybody.
Good one.
But just meet up, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do, man. Honestly, for sure.
Hey,
Meet face to face, do an experiment, do something.
my brother-in-law has done it in a whole different realm. This whole anime
IT
thing. No, it's anime. I'm not into anime in any way. I just never got it. There's a few, maybe 3-4 movies I really enjoyed. The rest.
Akira, that's about it.
Akira, Ghost in the
Ghost
Shell,
in the Machine, or Ghost in the
Spirited
Shell.
Away.
Yeah, there's not many. There's like 10, 5 or 6
yeah.
max.
That's about it. The rest of it I just don't get. A lot of big eyes and loud yelling at each other. So
Or porn.
whatever. Or porn, tentacle porn, right? So
hentai or what?
So his whole thing is this. You may have heard of it. I don't know. MechaCon. Plug. There you go.
Mech Warrior Convention. I'm
They
getting
do,
at
and no, it's all anime. It's not. Yeah, it's all anime. That's just what they chose for their name. But it started out just being local here in Lafayette, but now they have to do it in New Orleans. It's gotten so huge, and it's a whole weekend thing, and they get like voices from the shows and from the movies and from like that.
So it's like a
it's a big
version of
convention.
Comic-Con.
So if he can pull it off, we can pull it off, because he's Well,
Does he?
I don't want to get into that, but they pulled it off. They figured out how to do it, so we could do it.
Is it cosplay too with those? I'm guessing
Yeah,
a lot
man,
of
they
Sailor
do.
Moon
They
stuff
do
and
insane cosplay stuff, and they have people there with like book signings. And yeah, they're They're pretty big. Like I said, it's the biggest one in the anime convention in
Oh yeah,
part of the world for sure.
dude, I just remembered. I've been dying to ask you this because we haven't had a chance to talk. But
Yeah, yeah.
can you explain your experience at the B.O.B. concert and what it was like talking to people there and what they were saying? Like, what was it like actually attending his show? I
Yeah,
would
it
love to
was
know.
not at all what I expected at all. I mean, for the last 4 tapes before that, well, 3 before that, he put out were all truth and, I mean, not just flat earth truth, but everything we're talking about and beyond. The government controlling things, the people that are hidden amongst us that rule us, the system that has the, chemtrails and the fluoride. I mean, everything. You name it. Now, he, of course, had some generic-y, I'm a rapper and I'm the cool rapper and that kind of stuff that always turned me away from rap. But he had mostly good stuff that I could get into. And the music, actually, I started liking it because I've never been a fan. I just never, there was not much music to it and a very repetitive thing.
Mm.
Being a guitar player, I like technical, and it just never appealed to me greatly. A few things did, but this caught me because of his messages. So there was a girl that when I started talking about going to the concert in New Orleans, she was like, "Hey, I'm going. Why don't we hook up?" And another guy from that I knew on Twitter, and he was like, "Hey, why don't we hook up?" So us three planned on meeting there at some point, but we really never set like a place or a time or anything like that. But we got there kind of early. My son and I, he went, and we're standing out by the line. And there's only like maybe 5, 6 people there. And I see this one girl, and I can just tell instantly that's who it is. And so I kind of say out loud to the group, it's like, okay, so we're all here to see B.O.B. How many of you here know what's up about the earth? And everybody that knew what was up kind of laughed, and all the other people that you could tell were just there for like a Saturday evening experience or whatever it was, were just kind of looking at us like, what are y'all talking about? So it was definitely a mix of like the guy you could tell just got off work and he's there to pick up chicks. And then here's the other guy that's with his friends and they're all just wasted before they even get in line. But there was a lot of us that was there strictly because we had been talking about on Twitter. And it turns out after I got to talking to her, she's been talking to him since he was nobody on like Instagram and all these other things.
That lady that you saw.
Right. And
Okay.
she actually was going, like, she was into all this conspiracy stuff and had found, like, the Donald Marshall stuff and the clone stuff and showed him that
Please
stuff.
don't get into that stuff right now. My
No,
brain's
no, I'm
exploding.
saying that's where that got him on his whole conspiracy start, was the cloning
Okay.
thing. And he started
Yeah.
it and found the truth behind all that crap. And then he found Flat Earth. And, like, so she had been talking to him through all this. And so she was kind of going to be my in to see him during the show or after the show or however it worked out. That never quite worked out, and that's still a process. I haven't talked to TJ in like probably 2 months. But the show itself was probably maybe a third of it or a little more of it was the new stuff and songs I knew were off the new stuff and the newer albums and the truth song. And then the other percentage was probably stuff he had that was hits because a lot of people were going more crazy about those songs that were just generally there.
Did he mention anything like on stage or anything? Like did he mention about conspiracy or flat earth?
He was like, shout out, how did he say it? Shout out to the people when Bob was talking to us. What was that he said? Like, shout out to the people who know the earth is flat or something like that. He just like something in between like 2 songs, just a real quick whatever. But I mean, one of his t-shirts that was on sale that I got was realize.
I love that.
No, but he'd take a twist on it at the end. He put realize, vril lies, V-R-I-L.
Ooh,
So I'm like, look at this dude. Yeah, so I took that shirt. That's the shirt I had to get.
He grew
so
in his
obviously
experience.
He was trying to talk about some stuff, but even when I was talking to TJ at the t-shirt stand, I could tell by the way he was answering my questions and kind of brushing it off that they obviously don't want him talking about this crap. They'd rather him keep doing songs with Bruno Mars and Taylor Swift and being a little poppy.
Bro, don't get me started on Bruno Mars.
Right, and he even raps about that in his songs, where it's like, about his career. Were you blessed in or were you let in? I got as far as I could get before I hit a dead end. I sit back and let that set in. Hollywood always likes making brothers wear dresses and just all this stuff. So, I mean, he talks about the ritual killings. I never killed my best friend.
By the way,
why
that's
I hit a
another
dead
topic.
end.
So
he's definitely talking about stuff they don't want him talking about. I could tell by the way TJ was acting at the concert and trying to brush me off. But when I brought Jaren's name up, then it kind of changed the tone, and he started to head back to grab him for me. But then this girl got in the way and started hitting on him, and you know how that works when the little brain.
Yeah, you're not gonna win if you're
no.
with your kid and it's a girl.
No. So we didn't quite make it, but we kept emailing back and forth for the next few weeks, and then things started happening in Oregon, and I haven't contacted him. But I think the concert tour just ended like in July or August. Pretty sure he told me it was going to end in July or August. So it hasn't been that long. He's been off the road. Plus, he's got a new
album, I think, dropped.
tape out, that I haven't actually listened to the full thing yet. I was kind of taken aback by the album art a little bit with the Illuminati pyramid there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it ironic? Is that just, I don't know. Who knows anymore about people, man?
No, but that was a big deal. It was just lends to what I was saying earlier. Can you believe that, and I don't even think on the day, but that flat Earth has never been trending, like actually in the top 20 trends. That is such hogwash, like absolute bollocks in my mind. There's no way.
After the B.O.B. and the Neil Grayson rap battle and all that thing was in all these other news sources.
It still wasn't
trending on Twitter. There's just no way. And that shows that whole shadow censoring.
Who was talking about that? Hacksaw was talking about the shadow, whatever. I can't remember what he said. What is it, Josh?
Shadow ban. Shadow ban.
Do we know what is it? How does it work? Do we know?
It's basically just censorship. It's
bot-based, algorithm-based, or
probably be my guess. Well, I know Facebook is algorithm-based. Twitter, I'm guessing, is probably not so much. I'm guessing could be even search word based.
Keyword, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it would have to be. That's how it all works, right? It's on those keyword links and tags, right? I think. Either way, I just keep thinking about what Tony said earlier now, is they have the money, and we forget how much money and power they have. It's like they could literally buy anybody to just sit there all day and do whatever they want. You know, that's what we're up against.
When people ask me, what are we trying to accomplish, and what is the difference it's going to make, and what shape the Earth is, and the bigger picture with all the evil around us and all the lies we live with, and it's kind of like, again, back to, if they can lie about the most basic thing, which is where you live, then they've got you pretty much from that point on. And if you can wake up to that biggest lie of all, then all the rest of the lies kind of fall away, and then you can say, okay, let's stop playing the games, which I try my best every day to take steps and do myself personally in my own life. And that's the change you have to do, is make it your own change. Boycott the stores you don't believe or whatever. Boycott voting, boycott everything you can.
So hard to live that way. No, it's so hard
to actually
but
that's
do
the point.
it.
If they made it hard, they made it something
of course.
They rely on their grid system and their stores and their online shopping and all the crap and the distractions and the system, and that's what
I don't know. Was it you who said that they obviously are a little worried and I about stuff, and which is why they're doing things? But in my mind, I was going to say, but really, how worried are they? Because if you look at the Aaron Russo interview, where the guy was saying like, "Oh, why do you actually give a crap about those people? Who gives a shit about them? Don't even worry about them. Go save your family and get the hell out of there." It's like, I'll give you an example. So it's like I know a couple of millionaires. I mean, and right now the oil business is in the toilet. And on the perception, I'm thinking like, okay, this guy's hurting. He's not going to be doing so well. They're going to be, tightening the reins a bit. They're not going to be spending. I just ran into him a couple of weeks ago at Walmart. The buddy just bought a $600,000 Lamborghini. I'm like, what? All right, like, okay, so we're hurting and you're still rolling. So again, that kind of goes to what I'm saying is like, how much do they really actually like be super elites? Like we're such fodder. It's unbelievable. Like less than fodder. I don't think they think we have any power whatsoever. Otherwise, they wouldn't mock us so openly. Like who else? If they actually thought we
As
were
long as
smart,
they have us
would they?
thinking that way.
Yeah, would they taunt us? Like, well, look at it in UFC terms, right? If you're a really good fighter, or you're concerned about your opponent, you're not gonna like you're not gonna do the things and leave these clues and leave like clues on how to beat it or what you're actually gonna do at all. You're gonna shut up about everything and just be quiet and show them what you have in the ring.
Logical, sane thinking would do that. Logical, sane thinking would keep it all quiet and never say a word, and it would be secrets. But psychopathic, power-hungry entities that breed and live off of negative energy that they create in every possible way they can in this realm, they don't think that way. They don't think like logic thinks. They think in very twisted ways, in very, let's get as much misery as we can out of this. And it's one of the main ways they love to do it is that gamble of how much can we show these ignorant sheep we've bred.
Duper's the light again, though, hey?
It's the light, and that creates even, think about the frustration you feel when you see the programming now on TV. I think they're getting a charge off that as well, the fuckers.
Dude, it is like Europe. It's
so
like Europe and Canada and America finally. Like when I was in Holland as a kid, I saw a boob on TV. Now, I actually saw a boob and a sex scene on the CBC, which is like the come on. Things are different now, man. Holy. But at the risk of sounding cliche, I'll say like, oh, it wasn't as bad as we were young. But literally, I'm that guy now. It's like, it's so much worse. Have you seen these little 12-year-olds?
That's why they made that guy a meme.
Which guy?
Things were never this bad when I was young or whatever.
Right.
Oh,
you're all,
I haven't even seen it.
Listen to this music. Remember the Footloose preacher? That was like 1980. You keep dancing like that, you're all going to hell. He sounds ridiculous. But so does asking a police officer to state his name and his claim.
Right.
What's the smartest thing you can say to a police officer? What gives you the right to even stop me? That sounds ridiculous. They love to make the memes. Dude, like you were saying, they're so far ahead of us that we're seeing stuff we can't tell if it's like the end of the plan, the beginning of the plan, the preparation for the plan.
Remember what Finkelstein, Rabbi Finkelstein, said about it? He said it's too late. They couldn't suck it. They bought the meat. They eat it, and now we're gonna tell them about it. All the stuff they ate. They're eating the kids. We feed it to them. The blood. They love it.
What year was that?
I think it was pretty recent, man. Like I'm saying, because he wasn't talking about Obama, so I'm saying maybe 03 to 06 in between.
Like 02, it could have been 02 even.
I could agree with that.
You nailed that voice, by the way.
I definitely have a knack for him, but it's just not a good talent.
Not a proud talent for sure.
All right, fellers, I'm going to bail out.
Yeah, I actually was about to say.
It is about time. I say we wrap this up, and I think it was terrific.
Yeah, for sure, as always.
Good job.
It was good time.
I dropped a line to Richie from Boston. Hopefully he'll respond and be willing to come on the show. If not to talk about the tape he's worried about his life on, talk about something else because he has a lot of interesting topics for sure.
And thanks. I just want to say extra special thanks to our new friend Tony, who joined us today, and we hope you hop on more.
Yes, Tony, definitely welcome, and we appreciate it.
I appreciate you inviting me, and it's been really great time, great conversation, very enlightening. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day. Okay.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
Travel safe.
Cheers, everyone.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care. Hacksaw, take care, brother. Is he already gone?
Nope, I think he's there. I think it's hell. I don't know. I
Yeah,
can never.
I'm not sure. I can't tell. Oh, there he is. Yeah. All right. Well, Hacksaw, if you can hear me, brother, take care. Josh, I appreciate you as always, man. You are that guy, and kudos on all the things going on with the radio station, man. That is just awesome beyond measure.
Well, thanks.
talking.
Yeah, I hope good things
Oh,
coming
there
down
he
the
is.
road.
I see it, man. It's coming. You're gonna be our end guy. You're gonna be the one that blows this thing up.
Like I said, every week I'm surprised they call me back. So we'll see.
Well, let us know. Make sure you put up all the usual like links and numbers for all the newbies in the chat before you head out that day.
All right, we'll do.
And for those of us who can't quite keep up with that stuff, have you talked to Cal at all today? I didn't notice him in the chat at all, and I haven't talked to Paul. My mom had a lot of doctor's appointments today, so I doubt he's had time to do anything.
I don't think so. I don't think I've heard anything from Cal today.
All right, that's troublesome.
Yeah, it makes me a little worried. Has anybody checked to see if it's coming up at all?
I haven't. That's what I was about to do with my phone. I'm trying to find where I laid it down. Oh, here it is.
I don't think so. No.
And if it doesn't pop up pretty quick, that's when I noticed it takes forever to tell you it's not coming.
ENS address could not be.
Yeah, that's what I got too. Oh well, he'll get it. He'll get it. Him and Paul will work it out. I know. Paul will go in and push that secret magic button that he's got there that he has access to and fix it.
That's it.
All right,
Reconfigure
brother.
the power.
Exactly. All right, well,
guys.
let me know what's going on, and y'all take care. Thank you again, Hack.
Oh yeah.
All
You
right,
guys sleep well.
You too, brother. Love y'all. Later.
Bye.